How is this possible? How could two orange gold soul rings appear? Didn't he only absorb one violet imperial heaven extinguishing dragon? Ice Empress asked, baffled. This was unprecedented. None of them had ever seen a single spirit beast yield two soul rings. Tianmeng Iceworm was equally stunned. Snow Empress frowned. Could the violet imperial heaven extinguishing dragon be special, and that's why two soul rings appeared at once? They watched Chu Chen closely. His condition was stable. He had already entered the final stage of soul ring fusion and showed no signs of danger. Still, two soul rings appearing at the same time was simply unfathomable. Wait, doesn't that mean he already has 6 soul rings? Tianmeng Iceworm suddenly realized. If Chu Chen truly intended to accept a sacrifice from him, once the violet dragon's soul ring had been absorbed, he could go through with it. Tianmeng, are you really going to do this? Snow Empress asked, grave. Tianmeng Iceworm nodded firmly. Yes. I only reached this level because of a tremendous opportunity. If I had cultivated normally, I might have died in the Great Cataclysm long ago. Or, if my lifespan were ending, I still wouldn't be able to enter the next realm. Rather than wait to die in 10,000 years, I'd rather gamble now. If I become part of Chu Chen, he'll become much stronger. Strong enough, I believe, to break through to the peak realm. Then we can ascend to the God realm together. He turned to Snow Empress and Ice Empress. Spirit beasts have never become gods. Even Tian never reached it. We're all bound to die eventually, but why not try for that eternal realm? Snow Empress, Ice Empress, and even the Titan Snow Demon King fell silent. Tianmeng was right, but to stake their future on Chu Chen, whom they had only known for days, was a terrifying choice. With your help, can you really promise you'll keep your self-awareness after becoming one of his soul rings? Ice Empress asked. I can, Tianmeng said without hesitation. Before the others could respond, a vast aura erupted from Chu Chen. The black-purple will of destruction surged up into the sky. Chu Chen became a streak of light and rose high above them. 4 red soul rings and 2 orange gold soul rings bloomed around him. A roar echoed across the far north. Above the firmament, rolling waves of destructive will condensed, only to be shredded by a giant dragon claw. A true dragon circled in the heavens, looking down upon the ages. Is that his second spirit? How can it feel so oppressive? What kind of dragon clan is this from? Snow Empress and Ice Empress exchanged worried looks. They knew enough about dragons to understand that this spirit was beyond ordinary. Tianmeng Iceworm said quietly, even the Silver Dragon King's bloodline would be suppressed by it. To be able to overpower the Silver Dragon King's lineage meant the spirit's power rivaled or even exceeded that of a dragon god. Chu Chen felt it too. He had absorbed the violet imperial heaven extinguishing dragon, which had tried to possess his sea of consciousness and use his body to be reborn. He erased its final soul imprint, and then, through some extraordinary and unexpected transformation, ended up with 2 soul rings from a single beast. Finally, the destruction ancient dragon spirit has reached the spirit emperor realm, Chu Chen murmured inwardly. The power of destruction inside him far exceeded what it had been before. He suppressed his excitement, drew his power back, and landed before Tianmeng Iceworm and the others. Tianmeng, what's going on with your soul rings? Tianmeng asked impatiently. The violet imperial heaven extinguishing dragon tried to take over my sea of consciousness and be reborn, but I erased its last soul imprint, Chu Chen explained. Why 2 soul rings appeared, I don't know. His body was fine, so there was nothing more to worry about now. In any case, the extra soul ring effectively filled 2 slots for the destruction ancient dragon's spirit, a major boon. Chu Chen turned to Snow Empress, Ice Empress, and the Titan Snow Demon King. I heard your discussion, he said to Snow Empress. Tianmeng told you I have a deep connection to Gu Yue and Tian. I also promised Tian that if I achieve divinity, I will try to break the law that prevents spirit beasts from becoming gods. If I succeed, perhaps the strongest among the Soul Beast clan could become gods and attain eternal life. That is the will of the divinities I inherited. His words hit them like a bomb. Snow Empress stared at him, her eyes filling with emotion. That hope, the chance for spirit beasts to escape mortality, was what all of them secretly longed for. Before that, I have to achieve divinity, Chu Chen added, solemn. Tianmeng Iceworm's resolve only hardened. Facing such a genius who might become a god, he could not back down. Heh, Chu Chen, I believe you, Tianmeng said with a smile. Snow Empress stepped forward. The wary look she had worn toward Chu Chen softened into something almost gentle. Chu Chen, thank you for killing the violet imperial heaven-extinguishing dragon for the far north. It must have been frozen since ancient times. Now that it broke free and slaughtered our kin to restore itself, all the spirit beasts of the far north should be grateful to you. Tianmeng spoke again, voice steady. Chu Chen, according to our agreement, let me become your 7th soul ring. I will do this for the Soul Beast clan. Only if you become stronger can you break the shackles that keep spirit beasts from becoming gods. Chu Chen paused, surprised, then looked into Tianmeng's burning eyes and felt no urge to refuse. If Tianmeng joined him, it would be a path to eternal life for both of them. Then we'll need to go to the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang Well, Chu Chen said. Snow Empress shook her head. No need. The core of the far north will do. Chapter 200. Ice and Fire Dragon Wings evolve to God level. Ice God Dragon Wings. The core of the far north? What kind of place is that? Even Tianmeng Iceworm didn't know what the Snow Empress was talking about, and it was taken aback by how the Snow Empress was pushing things. It had expected that if the Snow Empress accepted its becoming Chu Chen's spirit, that would be enough, yet she now seemed eager to support it even further. Since Master and DTN both trust you, we have no reason to doubt you, the Snow Empress said. Besides, Tianmeng has already made its decision. The Ice Empress and the Titan Snow Demon King stood quietly by. Seeing them, Chu Chen spread his Ice and Fire Dragon wings and followed, Tianmeng Iceworm trailing close. This is the core of the far north. They arrived at a vast, frigid chasm. Beyond this point, it felt as if the world ended. No soft snow, only endless ice-blue glaciers. The air itself thrummed with concentrated ice element power. Such dense ice energy, Tianmeng Iceworm exhaled. Even it had never seen this place before. This is where Shuer and I usually cultivate. It should match the conditions you mentioned, the Ice Empress explained. Tianmeng, are you sure? Chu Chen asked. I've decided. Tianmeng Iceworm nodded with solemnity. I believe this choice is right. Maybe in a few years I'll know for sure. I won't regret it. Seeing Tianmeng's resolve, the Snow Empress and Ice Empress had nothing more to say. The Ice Empress felt a strange mix of irritation and reluctant respect. Tianmeng had always been bothersome, yet the willingness to sacrifice itself to fuse with a human stirred unexpected feelings. Begin, Chu Chen. Tianmeng Iceworm's voice was steady. Golden patterns along its body burst into blinding white gold light. Its entire form seemed to ignite, exuding a terrifying aura that rippled through heaven and earth. 999,000 years of cultivation power was being released. Chu Chen's expression grew solemn. He didn't want to fail Tianmeng. He unleashed his second spirit, the destruction ancient dragon, and the ultimate ice and fire energy behind him blossomed into the Ice and Fire Dragon wings. At that moment, the Ice and Fire Dragon wings reacted. The half of the wings that bore the Ice Dragon King's blessing absorbed the influx of Tianmeng's essence and intensified. Ice crystals bloomed, sending off blue-white crystalline light. Boom! The white gold spirit ring Tianmeng had become began to merge gradually into Chu Chen's body. Chu Chen felt an enormous tide of spiritual energy surge into his sea of consciousness. With that addition, his own spiritual reservoir swelled until it rivaled the strongest on the continent. Chu Chen, I will fuse all my power into your Ice and Fire Dragon wings, Tianmeng Iceworm warned. But this may cause the wings to become overwhelmingly ice elemental. The fire attribute could be suppressed. The existence of the Ice and Fire Dragon wings depended on a delicate balance, an equilibrium forged by the Ice and Fire Dragon King's blessings. Tianmeng's power would upset that balance. A choice had to be made. Do it, Chu Chen answered. He could accept the loss of the flame side. The fire attribute hadn't been central to his combat strength. Tianmeng performed the fusion carefully and voluntarily. No complications arose. Chu Chen's sea of consciousness felt like boiling water as Tianmeng's form began to merge into it. Tianmeng's voluntary sacrifice will likely raise his strength by another realm, the Snow Empress murmured. Chu Chen's second spirit was already terrifyingly powerful. 4 red spirit rings, 2 orange gold rings, and 1 white gold ring. Now, with Tianmeng's nearly million-year ring woven in, those rings behind it, even if compared to vicious beast spirit rings, paled in comparison. The ice and fire dragon wings completed their transformation. The fire half faded, while frost spread outward and crystallized, forming massive ice wings behind Chu Chen. This was an ultimate evolution. The ice and fire dragon wings have actually evolved to divine rank. Chu Chen was stunned, pleasantly so. He already bore 2 divine rank spirit bones. He hadn't expected his wings to become a 3rd divine level artifact. Perhaps now they should be called the Ice God Dragon Wings. Now we just wait for him to finish absorbing the power, the Snow Empress said. The fusion had succeeded. After absorbing the spirit ring of the Violet Imperial Heaven Extinguishing Dragon and Tianmeng Iceworm's ring, Chu Chen's combat strength surged. His overall level shot up to 88 in an instant. Heaven Do Empire, Heaven Do City. Peace was gone. Bibi Dong had unilaterally proclaimed the Spirit Empire and thrown a huge portion of her forces into war against the Star Luo Empire. Many Star Luo cities had fallen. Only Star Luo City and its surrounding towns remained under the old banner. The former Heaven Do Royal Academy had been reorganized, emerging now as the Heaven Do Spirit Master Academy. Ye Lingling stood beside Du Gubo, asking his opinion. Senior Du, should we send troops to support the Star Luo Empire? If Bibi Dong occupies Star Luo, the Spirit Empire will only grow stronger. Du Gubo wore a worried expression. The army in Heaven Do was now accepting the new regime. Life in Heaven Do City had visibly improved, and that made the issue more complicated. The more things stabilize here, the more careful we must be about supporting Star Luo, he said. He dared not leave the city now. There had been no word from Bibi Dong. If she decided to raid Heaven Do City, someone had to be here to meet her. Chur sulked at the side. Chu Chen had been gone many days, and she wanted to head to the far north to find him. He'll be fine. Don't forget, he has 2 divinities backing him, Du Gubo said calmly. Since Chu Chen has decided to unite the Douluo, we should stay and support him from here. At the least, we cannot allow Heaven Do City to fall. Meanwhile, we can also propose an alliance to the Star Luo Empire. They stood amid the tension of war and shifting allegiances, wondering when Chu Chen would return and how much stronger he would be when he did. Chapter 201, The Ice Emperor's Hesitation. Chu Chen heads to destroy Sea God Island. A month passed. In the heart of the far north, within an icy chasm that had lain undisturbed for untold ages, Chu Chen reappeared. A pair of ice god dragon wings unfurled behind him, radiating overwhelming power. Their aura surged into the sky and washed over the entire far north. With a thunderous sound, Chu Chen landed. He could feel the soul force surging through his body like a swimming dragon, and his eyes shone with joy. At that moment, the voice of the god of destruction echoed in his mind. Chu Chen, you have completed the 4th trial of the god of destruction. God King affinity increased by 15%, and the Mountain Dragon King's spirit bone has evolved to divine rank. The 5th trial of the god of destruction has descended. Within half a year, slay the sea god Douluo High Priestess Poseidon and sever all legacies of Sea God Island. This may be done simultaneously with the 7th trial of the Goddess of Life. Chu Chen's chest exploded with radiance. The Mountain Dragon King Spirit Bone, once a million-year level Spirit Bone, had ascended to divine rank. Now I have 4 divine rank Spirit Bones, he whispered in amazement. His soul force had also climbed to level 88. As Tianmeng Iceworm had predicted, the sacrifice had raised his power to terrifying new heights. If he met High Priestess Poseidon again, he would no longer be so helpless. It's time to head for Sea God Island. The remaining trials of the Goddess of Life and the God of Destruction must be completed there. 2 rays of light swept across the sky. Snow Empress and Ice Empress appeared. Ice Empress's impatience showed as soon as she saw him. Chu Chen, what happened with Tianmeng? Tianmeng succeeded. From the Ice God Dragon wings behind Chu Chen, the figure of Tianmeng Iceworm condensed. He still retained his consciousness, had fused perfectly with Chu Chen, and preserved his origin. Tianmeng's success left Snow Empress and Ice Empress utterly astonished, undeniable proof of a miracle. Thanks to Tianmeng, my original Ice and Fire Dragon wings evolved into Ice God Dragon wings, carrying my body a step into the divine realm, Chu Chen explained. Congratulations, Snow Empress said softly. The three of them left the place together. Snow Empress soon asked about Chu Chen's plans. My purpose in the far north is fulfilled. I won't stay longer. You two know I still have divine legacy trials to complete. I can't delay, Chu Chen said calmly. He had expected to search for answers here, but a single violet imperial heaven-extinguishing dragon had spared him much trouble. You are an honored guest of the Soul Beast clan, recognized by our lord, and you helped the far north. You are our friend. Snow Empress's words carried weight. Such a statement from one of the three great heavenly kings of the far north granted him enormous authority. We hope you become a god soon, Ice Empress added with a smile. Thank you both, Chu Chen replied. After bidding them farewell, Chu Chen and the consciousness of Tianmeng Iceworm unfurled the ice god dragon wings. With his current speed, Chu Chen could outpace nearly anyone on the continent. In an instant, he vanished into the sky. Binger, aren't you going to accompany Tianmeng? Snow Empress teased. Shuer. Ice Empress's face reddened, and she tried to deny it, but Snow Empress saw through her. I can tell you're tempted. Don't you want to exist with Chu Chen like Tianmeng did, as a special intelligent spirit occupying one of his spirit slots? Tianmeng occupied the 7th spirit slot, Snow Empress noted. Though Tianmeng was spirit ice attribute, his spirit ability contributed the avatar of martial soul and didn't affect Chu Chen's destructive attribute. Ice Empress hesitated. I don't have the attribute of destruction. If I became the 8th spirit slot, it might affect the purity of Chu Chen's will of destruction. Her tone carried helplessness, but Chu Chen had already said he would one day break the restriction barring spirit beasts from becoming gods, and Ice Empress dared hope. Perhaps in the future, we'll have a chance to become gods as well. Leaving the far north, Chu Chen did not head back to the Heaven Do Empire. His destination was clear: Sea God Island. Chu Chen, aren't you returning to Heaven Do City? Tianmeng asked. No, I must complete the next trials first. With Bibi Dong starting a war, though I was in the far north, I can guess both sides are in mutual containment. With Ditian guarding Heaven Do City, unless a divinity descends, Heaven Do will be secure. And I should use the opportunity to strengthen myself. Chu Chen had another purpose for going to Sea God Island, to kill Tang San. He condensed his soul force and pushed his ice god dragon wings to full speed. Like a streak of light, he cleaved several miles of sky and set course for the island. 2 days later, the breath of the sea greeted him. Chu Chen arrived at a coastal city called Vast Sea City. He took out an item he knew well, the Vast Sea Cosmic Shroud. Qian Renshui had given him. The sea god's residual will had been erased from it by the god of destruction. At best, it was now a decent relic. Still, the shroud retained a faint sensing of the sea god's power emanating from Sea God Island, which lay not far away. Chu Chen wasn't overly worried about exposure. He wasn't here to be subtle. His goal was to eliminate the 7 holy pillar Douluos, find every possible way to kill High Priestess Poseidon, and destroy every sea god legacy. It would be a bloody, all-out campaign. That High Priestess Poseidon is extremely powerful. Last time she was careless, but this time it'll be on her home waters. Are you really sure? Tianmeng warned. I'm not sure. Chu Chen breathed deep, his voice calm but edged with killing intent. But I must kill her. Why not secure your 8th spirit slot first? Tianmeng suggested. I already have a target for the 8th slot, Chu Chen said. But if I hunt that beast now, it will draw Sea God Island's attention. Then completing the trial will be far more difficult. The intended target for his 8th spirit slot was the true hegemon of the ocean, a million-year spirit beast, the deep-sea demon whale king. Hunting such a creature would invite the island's entire notice, so Chu Chen resolved to postpone that quest. Sea God Island itself had to be destroyed first. 204, Chapter 202, Blast, Ning Rong Rong, Slay the Sea Dragon, Seahorse Douluo. What? You mean to tell me there is a genuine million-year spirit beast in this sea? When Chu Chen told him about the deep-sea demon whale king, Tianmeng Iceworm was struck dumb with shock. In his view, Ditian should be the most powerful spirit beast on the continent aside from the Silver Dragon King. Even Ditian only had a cultivation of just over 800,000 years. Tianmeng Iceworm's own cultivation had come from lucky opportunities, flashy but shallow in true combat power. He had never expected a real million-year spirit beast to still exist on Douluo continent. Then that deep-sea demon whale king. Could he be even stronger than Detian? He asked. Chu Chen rolled his eyes. You think highly of the deep-sea demon whale king. Unless someone has ascended to godhood, Detian is absolutely stronger. Not to mention the dragon god claw. It suppresses every spirit beast terribly. Detian is the direct 35 of the dark dragon king. The deep-sea demon whale king might have a tiny trace of the dragon clan turf in him, Chu Chen added. There was no doubt the deep-sea demon whale king wasn't a match for Detian. Chu Chen continued. By the way, there's another spirit beast on a distant continent whose 25 is no weaker than yours. They walked the streets of Vast Sea City as they spoke. They were communicating by consciousness, so no one would know they were talking. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Tianmeng Iceworm denied it flatly. Even if my strength has some shortcomings, even Detian probably can't match my 25. You saying someone else matches me is just you bragging, Chu Chen. Chu Chen was silent for a moment. Mentioning that fellow made him curious to see the man's power. His name is the Evil Eye Tyrant Dominator. His cultivation is also approaching 800,000 years. When he was only 300,000 years, he used the light of time and space to freeze everything within a radius of several hundred miles. He even injured Detian. Detian needed tens of thousands of years to recover. Hearing Chu Chen's description, Tianmeng Iceworm felt dread spread through him. There's always someone stronger. Chu Chen shot up into the air and raced towards Sea God Island. Ahead, the island's center sent a brilliant golden light into the sky, and Chu Chen felt a familiar aura. This was Sea God Island. He completely concealed his aura and watched. The 7-pillar Douluo were each cultivating before their respective sea god holy pillars. Chu Chen, that one is the strongest, Tianmeng Iceworm said, pointing with his keen perception to a figure closest to the sea god temple. A level 95 titled Douluo, Sea Dragon Douluo, Chu Chen murmured. And beside him is Ning Rongrong? He saw Ning Rongrong again. Sea Dragon Douluo was instructing her. Ning Rongrong now had the power of a spirit saint, 731s, but her spirit remained the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, which suggested her path might have reached its limit. No matter what, I'll deal with Sea Dragon and Ning Rongrong first. Chu Chen had at first planned to wait 29 when the 7-pillar Douluo gathered together and try to ambush as many as he could. But such chances were rare. Even if he could kill Sea Dragon Douluo in one blow, what would come next were the other 7 Wraith, titled Douluo, including the High Priestess of Poseidon. This is a divine rank trial. God of Destruction and Goddess of Life won't help me. Everything has to depend on myself. The 28 in Chu Chen's body surged violently, pouring fully into the Destruction Dragon Spear in his hands. Boom! The space around him twisted. Under his extreme gravity control, the spatial gravity became like solid matter, not just 10 times normal, but 100 or even 1,000 times. After the Mountain Dragon King Spirit Bone evolved to divine rank, Chu Chen's gravity control had become even more terrifying. Right now, he only applied gravity to the Destruction Dragon Spear. If he wished, he could use the gravity of the entire space. Gathering a majestic offensive, the Destruction Dragon Spear released a massive will of destruction and tore through space, blasting forward. Crack! Space shattered like glass. The strike was so sudden and fast no one could react. The spear became a streak of light descending from the sky. By the time Sea Dragon Douluo realized what was happening, it was already too late. The Destruction Dragon Spear blasted Ning Rongrong's body to pieces on the spot, then pierced Sea Dragon Douluo and pinned him to the Sea Dragon Holy Pillar behind him. Boom! The Sea Dragon Holy Pillar snapped, exploding into debris. Sea Dragon Douluo, the strongest of the 7 Holy Pillar Guardian Douluo, died instantly, and his Guardian Holy Pillar shattered with him. 5th Spirit Ability, Annihilation Dragon Roar. Chu Chen's figure materialized before Seahorse Douluo. He had to take advantage of the stunned moments to kill as many as possible. The orange gold 31 flared. Chu Chen transformed into a Destruction Ancient Dragon. His terrifying roar severed space and time, and Seahorse Douluo was heavily wounded as his soul was torn apart. The Destruction Dragon Spear flashed coldly. Combined with the fused attack of the Scepter of Destruction, Chu Chen killed Seahorse Douluo before he could use a spirit ability. With Seahorse Douluo dead, Chu Chen condensed gravity control again and blew the Seahorse Holy Pillar to pieces. Who dares trespass on Sea God Island? Only then did the remaining 5-pillar Douluo snap awake. 5 terrifying auras erupted as they rushed to kill Chu Chen. They were horrified. The strongest among them, Sea Dragon Douluo, and the powerful Seahorse Douluo had both been slaughtered in an instant, and the attacker was merely a spirit Douluo. 8th spirit ability, Life Collapse. A brilliant blue-gold light swept out, warping space to trigger a continuous devouring like a black hole. An endless maw of life force opened, covering the remaining few. Chu Chen struck proactively, spear in hand. He charged the weakest among them, Sea Maiden Douluo. Though she specialized in sound waves and 25 attacks, her Phi was far inferior to Chu Chen's. Mind reading? In Chu Chen's head at that moment, there was only one thought. What the hell? Sea Maiden Douluo's face twisted with fury. Who curses someone in their mind while fighting? Sea Maiden Douluo lifted the magic flute and sent invisible sound waves rushing toward Chu Chen. It was a mental assault designed to unmoor the mind, but to Chu Chen, it was nothing more than a trivial annoyance. Dragon Roar of Destiny, a mighty roar, packed with overwhelming force, erupted and shattered the sonic attack. Sea Maiden Douluo reeled from the backlash, blood spurting from her 7 orifices. At the same moment, an eerie, poisonous mist began to seep into the surrounding space. Its hallucinatory power was strong enough to warp the environment, the signature ability of Sea Ghost Douluo. An illusion, huh? Chu Chen smiled. His eyes turned pure gold as a judging light wreathed in the power of destiny flared out. Condensed from his 28th spirit ring, now comparable in force to a 20th level ring, the strike not only tore apart Sea Ghost Douluo's illusion, it forced a choked groan from him. He lost consciousness and collapsed from the sky, utterly still. Sea Ghost! The remaining 4 stared in horror. How could a single blow instantly kill Sea Ghost Douluo? Chu Chen's 28th spirit ring is currently strong enough to shatter a sea of consciousness in one strike. Tianmeng Iceworm sneered. Why hasn't High Priestess Poseidon acted yet? Is she still recovering? Or, Chu Chen felt a chill. With the other 4 7 sacred pillars, Douluo still fighting, he couldn't afford to worry where Poseidon was. Inside the Sea God Temple. It's that Chu Chen. I didn't expect him to be bold enough to storm Sea God Island alone. High Priestess Poseidon's face showed shock. Coming alone to challenge Sea God Island, did he truly fear nothing? This Chu Chen is truly brazen. A majestic voice spoke nearby. The Sea God's projection watched High Priestess Poseidon, and in front of her stood Tang. Lord Sea God, I still need to keep Tang-san's energy balanced. Could you intervene with a divine thought? High Priestess Poseidon asked. A flicker of hesitation crossed her face. The Sea God was silent a moment. No, behind that Chu Chen are the 2 God Kings of the God Realm. If you and the 7 sacred pillars act together, it might be different. But if I can already feel the God of Destruction's divine sense locking onto me. If I act against Chu Chen, there will be no turning back. There was a faint bitterness in the Sea God's words. God Realm. Xiaozi, aren't you tired of holding the scepter of destruction like that? The goddess of life asked softly. That Sea God is being cowardly. If he plans to bully the weak, I'll swing this scepter of destruction at his head. The God of Destruction's tone was grave, not joking. Then I'll join you. A terrifying divine might descended again. The godly power of the 2 God Kings condensed above the Sea God's projection. With a thought, the Sea God's hall could be reduced to ruins. The Sea God was nearly in tears. Damn that couple. So unreasonable. Boom! Chu Chen slashed a beam of light with the Destruction Dragon Spear, severing a tentacle hurled by Sea Star Douluo. A judging light of destiny blasted Sea Star backward. Damn it, 9th spirit ability. Gravity, ebb and flow, Sea Star bellowed, unleashing his 9th spirit ability to manipulate gravity across the battlefield. But to Chu Chen, it was child's play. Mountain Dragon King Spirit Bone Skill, sovereign of the world. As Chu Chen raised his hand, a terrifying celestial phenomenon was triggered. A colossal ancient dragon manifested behind him, and the laws of the world themselves seemed to descend upon him. This was the Mountain Dragon King Spirit Bone's second skill, one he had never revealed before. Having evolved to the divine rank, its full power unfolded. Gravity and the natural elements became his to command. What? My ninth spirit ability. How could it fail? Sea Star's face drained of color. His proud ninth spirit ability had been neutralized. Gravity no longer obeyed him. Chu Chen had become the dominator of this world. What are you waiting for? Attack together. Sea Illusion Douluo and Sea Spear Douluo, still able to fight, launched a combined assault. Their spirits, the illusory snake and the Nanak spear, specialized in illusion control and devastating piercing power. Boom! Chu Chen teleported with the Destruction Dragon Spear and appeared beside Sea Spear Douluo. Facing the Destruction Dragon Spear, the Nanak spear trembled as if a grandson before his grandfather, shuddered, and was blown aside by Chu Chen's thrust. Dragon God Destiny Judgment! Chu Chen did not hesitate. He had already sensed High Priestess Poseidon's aura finally moving. He had to settle these opponents quickly so he could focus entirely on killing her. He unleashed a Dragon God Destiny Judgment channeled through his fearsome 28th Spirit Ring. Sea Illusion Douluo cast a dreadful illusion, trying to swallow Chu Chen and kill him within it. But his Spirit Ring was no match for Chu Chen's. Even hidden, his position was fixed by Chu Chen. The brilliant mental light tore through the illusion's protection, and the judgment struck Sea Illusion Duo down. Crack! The illusion shattered. Chu Chen seized Sea Illusion Duo by the throat with one hand, and under the furious gazes of Sea Star, Sea Spear, and Sea Maiden, snapped it cleanly. 4 of the 7 sacred pillars had fallen. Sea Maiden Douluo lay grievously wounded, barely capable of fighting. He's only a spirit Douluo, yet he can casually kill titled Doulaos. Damn it, what kind of existence is he? Sea Spear's voice quavered. Chu Chen answered their stunned curiosity in full. After he unleashed the 8 terrifying formations of the Blue-Silver Emperor, the 3 survivors were dumbfounded. Could a human truly possess such formations? Chu Chen, you attacked the Sea God Temple, destroyed the Guardian Pillars, and slain the 7 sacred pillars Doulaos. You have chosen your path to death. High Priestess Poseidon finally made her appearance. The sea around them boiled as if it had been set aflame. Tens of thousands of meters of water shot into the sky, forming a curtain that almost hid the heavens. Boom! A figure wielding a magnificent scepter appeared above the water, stepping atop the cascading wall of ocean. It was High Priestess Poseidon, long absent from the scene. Her beautiful eyes were filled with frenzied killing intent. 4 of the 7 sacred pillar guardian Douluos had already been killed by Chu Chen, and 2 of the guardian sacred pillars had been shattered. Such losses had shaken the prestige of the Sea God Temple to its core. Chu Chen, you have found your path to death. High Priestess Poseidon stared at Chu Chen, releasing a terrifying pressure of spirit power. Being on the ocean, her home turf, she could exert several times her normal strength. Even if Tang Chen and Qian Daliu joined forces here, it would likely be difficult for them to defeat her. On the sea, she was nearly invincible. It's still uncertain who will die today. Chu Chen watched her without emotion, 2 super divine artifacts orbiting his body. Lord Poseidon, I'll help you. Sea Maiden Douluo had recovered. She began to play the sea-quelling divine song, a 9th spirit ability capable of shredding a person's spirit. The invisible sound waves carried a force that directly assaulted the soul. But the 9th spirit ability she believed could truly harm, Chu Chen failed in that instant. Chu Chen simply stood there, calm, listening to the song. Impossible, impossible. Sea Maiden Douluo's composure crumbled. She condensed all the spirit power in her body and pressed on with the sea-quelling divine song, but Chu Chen didn't even look at her. He stared only at High Priestess Poseidon. No! Sea Maiden shrieked, then blood poured from the 7 orifices of her face. The magic flute in her hands, her spirit weapon, shattered. With the flute's destruction, her spirit broke, and she collapsed, crippled. Sea Maiden, Sea Spear Douluo's hair stood on end. What method had Chu Chen used? How had he done nothing and yet caused Sea Maiden Douluo's spirit to shatter? His spirit power surpasses mine. Sea Maiden Douluo suffered backlash from her own sea-quelling divine song. I didn't expect the backlash to be so terrible. High Priestess Poseidon's voice floated over the water. With Sea Maiden's spirit shattered, only Sea Spear Douluo and Sea Star Douluo remained among the seven sacred pillar Douluos. Despair filled the air. Even if Poseidon killed Chu Chen, the losses to Sea God Island were already incalculable. Lord Poseidon, kill him! Sea Spear Douluo roared. He and Sea Star Douluo launched themselves at Chu Chen with suicidal force, their spirit power rolling out like a tidal wave. Chu Chen raised a hand. Using the Blue-Silver Emperor's ultimate life, he momentarily pinned their bodies in midair, then clenched his fist. Boom! The life energy combined with the instantaneous detonation of Chu Chen's spirit power left both attackers injured. High Priestess Poseidon seized the moment. On her ocean turf, she moved like a sovereign. The very air seemed to thicken as she drew in moisture and condensed it, a killing intent coiling in every droplet. The environment near the sea is humid. The air is full of water vapor, Chu Chen observed. All that water vapor can be hers. But the life force inside Chu Chen began to spin rapidly and his chest glowed. The mountain dragon king's spirit bone in his torso radiated blindingly. My world alone. As if becoming the dominator of this realm, Chu Chen reached out and took control of everything around him. Gravity, elements, the very water Poseidon sought to manipulate. She suddenly felt she had lost control. It was no longer her spirit force directing the water. Chu Chen had devoured every water element she could summon. What's going on? High Priestess Poseidon stared at him in disbelief. In only a few months, his strength had transformed beyond recognition. Chu Chen gave a cold smile and charged, the destruction dragon spear in his hand. His aggression had a reason. Under the effect of the divine rank mountain dragon king's spirit bone, he used ultimate gravity control to become dominator of the world, seizing and consuming the water elements Poseidon relied on. The spirit bone provided the realm-controlling power and attraction. Chu Chen's life force executed the devouring, an ultimate black hole that swallowed nearby power and converted it into his own. If he remains, I may not be a match for him. A twinge of wariness crept into Poseidon's heart. She summoned the seventh spirit ability, Sea God Avatar. An illusory sea god took form behind her, and a brilliant surge of spirit power descended like a shroud, vast and boundless. Chu Chen countered with the blue-silver domain and the Great Desolation Scripture, using life energy to resist the strike. While blocking Poseidon's assault, he teleported through space. The ice god dragon wings unfurled behind him, the first time he had revealed this power in battle. Combined with the Tianmeng iceworm's influence, they radiated ultimate ice, forming an invisible blizzard that froze everything in its wake. Poseidon, I will kill you today! Chu Chen closed in, spear poised. Poseidon could only condense a barrier with her spirit power and use her scepter to pull away, releasing waves thousands of feet high behind her. Those waves, like ferocious beasts with bloody maws, hurled Chu Chen back more than 1,000 meters before they dissipated. Ninth spirit ability. Sea Spear Douluo struck again. His body transformed into a giant Nanook spear and shot forward in a straight line. A stream of golden light carved the sky, colliding with Chu Chen midair. Even Poseidon paused her own attack to watch what happened next. Sea Spear Douluo did manage to land a blow, one that would have been a minor wound for Chu Chen, immediately healed by the Blue-Silver Emperor's life skill. But Chu Chen's Destruction Dragon Spear pierced through Sea Spear Douluo's chest and into his heart. Another one fell. The last shred of rationality fled High Priestess Poseidon's eyes as the sea god's ranks were further decimated. Chapter 205, The True Form of the Ancient Dragon of Destruction. 10,000 dragons pay homage. After Chu Chen killed 6 of them, the remaining Sea Star Douluo was no longer a threat. The true trouble in this fight had always been High Priestess Poseidon. Even though I used the Mountain Dragon King's Spirit Bone technique to block her control over the sea, it's only a temporary fix. Chu Chen thought. He immediately activated the Great Desolation Scripture and the Blue-Silver Domain in fusion, drawing out the surging life force of the marine creatures around him. That life force poured into his body and was transmuted into pure ultimate destruction. Boom! Under his will, 2 super divine artifacts took shape, the Destruction Dragon Spear and the Scepter of Destruction. Chu Chen abandoned the Blue-Silver Emperor spirit and called forth the Destruction Ancient Dragon Spirit. His spirit composition shone, 4 red spirit roots, 2 orange gold and 1 platinum, a combination so alien and terrifying that High Priestess Poseidon felt her mind shake. Even as a servant of a god, she had never seen anything like orange gold or platinum spirit roots. She could not delay. With a snort, she launched a preemptive strike, unleashing her spirit ability at full strength to seize control of the surrounding energy. Chu Chen charged at her at the same moment. He swung the scepter of destruction, and the majestic will of destruction shuddered through space. The attack spread like a shower of falling stars, covering several thousand meters and colliding head-on with Poseidon's counterstrike. A black-purple sun condensed behind Chu Chen. From its center, a storm of destruction expanded, evaporating seawater and making Sea God Island tremble. With a thought, Chu Chen slammed that sun down. Poseidon raised both hands. Seawater leapt up and wrapped around her. The clash of 2 extreme energies blew Chu Chen back. "Humph!" Poseidon snorted and followed up with another terrifying blow. The spirit energy in Chu Chen surged wildly, almost beyond his control. Her mastery of water was indeed terrifying. He realized with a start that because the human body was mostly water, her power could directly affect his physical form. "I have to kill her now. No more delays." Chu Chen steadied himself. A hint of madness flared in his eyes. 7th spirit ability, Dragon's Descent. A condensed, solid manifestation of spirit exploded outward. Space split apart as a colossal dragon tore through the void, its claws shimmering black-purple. With a single stroke, it could blot out the sun and darken the sky. The destruction ancient dragon had truly descended. This was Chu Chen's true destruction ancient dragon avatar, not the partial avatar state used during martial soul fusion with Chuer. Both were martial soul avatars, but the difference was like a half-formed apparition versus a fully awakened god. The dragon's roar rolled across the Douluo continent. Poseidon stared, stunned. Behind Chu Chen coiled a genuine, 10,000-meter-long dragon whose black-purple scales flashed with terrible light. Its pair of dragon eyes contained heaven and earth. Its claws could rend the firmament. At the Lake of Life in the Star-Dew Great Forest, Silver Dragon King appeared at once and turned towards Sea God Island. She sensed the crushing Dragon Clan pressure and felt her own bloodline boil with reverence. "It's Chu Chen. Has he finally awakened the avatar of his second spirit?" she breathed. The dragon lineage inside his destruction ancient dragon felt purer and more terrifying even than the dragon god's true dragon, a revelation that staggered her. Perhaps the Dragon Clan should welcome a new master. Di Tian and Chuer in Heaven Do City also sensed that terrifying dragon presence. It wasn't only them, spirit beasts and anyone with a trace of Dragon Clan blood in their spirits felt it, and all looked toward Sea God Island as one. Dugubo himself was shocked to the bone. He even felt the urge to bow in worship, a sign that his jade phosphor serpent truly could evolve into a dragon. In the Elder Hall, Qian Daoliu quietly raised his eyes. "Sea God Island, did he go there?" he murmured. Poseidon felt as if movement had become impossible. Chu Chen stood like a descending king, the 10,000-meter dragon looming over everything. The dragon claw crashed down, and space collapsed in layers with sharp sonic booms. She was forced to retreat. Her sea god spirit seemed to melt into the ocean. Her eyes turned a pure, furious blue. With her 9th spirit ring aflame, she released her 9th spirit ability, summoning the phantom of the sea god. Chu Chen's lips curved into a cold smile. All 7 of his major spirit marks flared and poured into the destruction ancient dragon avatar. His pupils transformed into dragon eyes, inscribed with unique dragon sigils. He struck toward Poseidon with a blow that felt as if it could sink the entire island. The destruction ancient dragon and the sea god phantom clashed. The sea boiled and roared. The titanic collision drew other mighty beings, the deep-sea demon whale king, and nearby in the sea god temple, Tang felt the pull as well. 9th spirit ability, sea god's imprisonment, Poseidon bellowed, unleashing power at her realm-level peak. A blue-gold light poured from the sea god phantom, forming massive chains that lashed toward the destruction ancient dragon. The chains wrapped and began to bind the dragon. 10,000-foot waves rose behind the phantom. Chu Chen's My World Alone technique failed at that moment as Poseidon reclaimed control of the ocean. A monstrous sea beast roared and crashed toward him. The fight had reached a white-hot stage. The titanic energy fluctuations were catastrophic. The islands that housed the sea dragon Douluo and sea horse Douluo, both of whom had already lost their sacred pillars, were torn apart and sank straight to the seafloor. 208, Chapter 206. Poseidon in despair. Chu Chen kills Tang. Sea god's imprisonment. High Priestess Poseidon poured every ounce of her power into that single strike, including the sea god's power she could channel. The brilliant sun of the sea descended, and a majestic wave of light blasted downward. Chu Chen released all his spirit force at once. The Tianmeng iceworm materialized beside him, and a brilliant crystalline shield condensed out of thin air. Shield of life reflection, the creature intoned, and for an instant Poseidon's attack was blocked. Chu Chen, this one is extremely strong. What are you going to do? The Tianmeng iceworm warned in a deep voice. And I sense another terrifying aura approaching. It must be the deep-sea demon whale king you mentioned. With such catastrophic auras erupting here, he'll be drawn in. I have to finish this fast, Chu Chen said. He took a steadying breath. The scepter of destruction and the destruction dragon spear appeared, along with the third artifact. The three divine artifacts fused seamlessly into one final form, the ultimate destruction dragon spear in Chu Chen's hand. 7 spirit rings flared at once, their light filling the sky. Under the pressure of Chu Chen's spirit force, the 7 rings actually merged into one, releasing an even more blinding radiance that pierced the storm clouds and let a ray of sunlight touch the sea surface. Spirit ring fusion. He actually has this ability? High Priestess Poseidon's pupils contracted. What Chu Chen displayed now was a kind of spirit ring amalgamation, an innate talent carried by the destruction ancient dragon spirit that integrated the spirit rings into the user to release their power to the utmost. Black-purple armor, like dragon scales, formed over Chu Chen's body, erupting with a terrifying aura. Fuse, he commanded, and the 7 spirit rings were fully absorbed into him. Chu Chen shot forward like a streak of light, cutting through the air to meet High Priestess Poseidon's 9th spirit ability. On his forehead, the Eye of Destiny opened, Destiny's power flaring. In sync with the spirit force resonance between Chu Chen and the Tianmeng iceworm, it transformed into a spatio-temporal mental beam that pierced space itself. The sea god phantom trembled violently, nearly shattered by Chu Chen's strike. High Priestess Poseidon strove to condense her remaining power to hold it together. She managed to preserve the phantom, but she was badly hurt, blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. Life Dragon Spirit Bone Skill, Life Contract! Chu Chen's mouth curved in a sinister smile. With his current spirit force and Poseidon already wounded, the life contract was practically guaranteed to take effect. Poseidon frowned, a shadow of foreboding crossing her features. She wanted nothing more than to kill Chu Chen outright, so she waved her scepter. Endless seawater condensed into 9 long dragons that roared forward. Behind her, the sea god temple erupted in golden light, the sea god's light, the most sacred and mysterious force on Sea God Island. Poseidon herself could not channel it. The sea god phantom she had summoned was the one releasing the sea god's light now. Chu Chen, what are you doing? The Tianmeng iceworm cried, alarmed, for Chu Chen did not dodge. He charged straight ahead, meeting Poseidon's attack head-on with nothing but the strength of his physical body. At the moment you were struck by the life contract, Chu Chen said coldly, it was already over. Before Poseidon could react, he drove the destruction dragon spear straight through his own heart. A streak of bloodlight shot downward, sharp and piercing. Poseidon was stunned. Why would he suddenly stab himself? Then realization dawned. She slowly bowed her head, and in that same instant felt her own heart explode inward. Her heart had been blasted apart. Chu Chen's own shattered heart began to mend visibly. He had condensed the life essence into his chest rather than his dantian when he formed it, partly to avoid disturbing future soul core condensations and partly to combine it with the life contract. Even with his heart pierced, his terrifying regenerative capacity rebuilt it rapidly. Poseidon's fate, however, was far bleaker. She staggered and began to fall from the sky. You actually used such a method, she whispered, trembling. She had never imagined such a suicidal technique. Did Chu Chen not worry his heart would fail to recover? Covered in wounds, Chu Chen landed on the lower reaches of Sea God Island. You are defeated, he said calmly. He then circulated a blue-silver Emperor Divine Rank skill. Wildfire cannot consume it all. The spring breeze brings it back to life, and his injuries healed rapidly. Poseidon gave a tragic smile, her eyes filled with despair. Her life force was draining away. Had it not been for her own inner reserve, she would have died on the spot. "Lady Poseidon!" the last sea star Douluo screamed as he rushed forward, his power surging to a terrifying degree. To save the High Priestess, he chose the most desperate method. He unleashed his titled Douluo's ultimate attack. The terrifying energy swept out, but at that moment, Chu Chen's figure dissolved into absolute nothingness. The force did not harm him in the slightest. There is still one more person to deal with. Chu Chen knew Poseidon was doomed. In her eyes, he had seen only utter despair, not a single glimmer of life. He ignored her. "Domain of destruction," he roared. The domain bloomed. With the will of destruction, he shattered the sea god's light. Chu Chen landed outside the sea god temple, and the destruction dragon spear slammed into Sea God Island, gouging a massive rent straight into it. "Tang San, we might be old acquaintances. Today, you die." Chu Chen saw Tang San hiding inside the temple. Tang San saw him too, hatred blazing in his eyes. He condensed a crystalline water droplet in his hand, his proud hidden weapon technique, Guan Yin's tears. Chu Chen raised his spear, and the energy from the destruction dragon spear obliterated the Guan Yin's tears instantly. With a single thrust, he pierced Tang San's chest. Tang San spat a mouthful of blood. He had no strength left to counterattack. The strike killed him on the spot, his body dimly lit with red light as life faded away. Chu Chen walked slowly to Tang San's side. Tang San lay on the ground, his chest pierced, struggling for breath. Chu Chen's face was calm, almost indifferent. The two of them could indeed be called old acquaintances. "You." Tang San's eyes still held a spark of life, gradually fading. He glared at Chu Chen with hatred, but his wound left him powerless. He could only watch with wide, pleading eyes as Chu Chen turned and walked toward the sea god trident ahead. Suddenly, a black-red light swirled around Tang San, and he vanished from the spot. He was dead, but his body had been taken away in an instant by some unknown force. Chu Chen noticed it, but made no move to stop it. "Took his corpse. Must be the Asura god." Chu Chen smiled faintly. The Asura god wanted Tang San to ascend to godhood, and had even taken his body away for that purpose. Chu Chen knew they might meet again one day. Below the sea god temple, High Priestess Poseidon had collapsed to the ground, muttering weakly. Her face was pale and drained of strength. "Tang Chen," she whispered, and for a moment she seemed to see Tang Chen at her side, silent, watching. The vision wavered and became Qiandalu instead. Tang Chen was not there. It was Qiandalu who had sensed the calamity and manifested himself. After all, High Priestess Poseidon had once been the woman he loved. "It's you." Her eyes brightened for the last time, not a return of life, but the final light before death. "High Priestess Poseidon, our era has ended." Qiandalu breathed, his tone heavy with a mix of grief and resignation. He was still lost in memories of the past, but he could not deny that the age that had belonged to them, the three of their generation, was over. Soon, he himself would give his life for Qian Renchui's divinity legacy. When that happened, everything would end. The High Priestess gave a tragic smile. Under Qiandalu's watchful gaze, she slowly dissolved into a sky of light and dispersed. Qiandalu sighed and turned away. He did not meet Chu Chen. This was not the time. He had come only to send the High Priestess off. The sea god trident, since it's a divine artifact, only a super-divine artifact can destroy it. Chu Chen stepped closer and felt a faint golden glow emanating from the trident. The light was gentle to the eye, but it contained an intense, resilient force that pushed him back. That was the sea god's light, the trident's automatic defense. Yet the current trident was a masterless object. Even with the sea god's light, it could not fully resist the will of destruction that Chu Chen was about to unleash. The sea god's light itself was being worn away. Boom! Chu Chen, spear in hand, closed the distance. He activated the Mountain Dragon King Spirit Bone technique, extreme gravity control. Gravity condensed until it felt like the air had turned to solid stone. Then he hurled the Destruction Dragon Spear. Black gold light screamed forth and collided with the sea god trident with a thunderous impact. Cracks spidered through the sea god temple. Mount Sea God shuddered and began to tilt. Another boom. A fissure appeared on the seemingly indestructible trident where the destruction dragon spear struck. Chu Chen gathered his spirit power once more and struck even harder. The temple vibrated violently. A storm of force expanded and shoved him back, but the cracks on the trident deepened. Boom. Behind Chu Chen, a black-gold current of light condensed. The scepter of destruction had manifested, and it poured the will of destruction wholly into the destruction dragon spear. The spear fell with an aura that could obliterate all things. Atop Mount Sea God, an earth-shaking roar split the air. A terrifying shockwave rippled out from the trident's destruction, sweeping across the sea region and capsizing countless ships. Mount Sea God itself split in two under the force. Chu Chen hovered in the turbulent air, gathering his remaining might. No one could stop him now. With the destruction dragon spear's power, he shattered the remaining 5 seals. The golden glow that had lingered over Sea God Island slowly faded. The sea god's legacy was finally severed. Rumble. Mount Sea God sank, leaving only a small remnant island. Chu Chen landed just as voices echoed in his mind, the god of destruction and the goddess of life speaking in turn. Chu Chen, you have completed the 7th trial of the goddess of life God King test. God King affinity increased by 20%. The life dragon spirit bone has evolved to divine rank. Your current God King affinity is 80%. Chu Chen, you have completed the 5th trial of the God of Destruction test. God King affinity increased by 15%. Spirit power increased by 1 level. Your current God King affinity is 65%. Then the husband and wife's voices chimed together. The next God King trial will arrive shortly. Chu Chen said nothing. He began to suspect whether his path to godhood had been arranged from the start by this black-hearted couple who seemed to be toying with him. Especially the god of destruction, his heart, and apparently his tastes, were truly black. God of destruction, Chu Chen muttered to himself aloud, not only are your clothes black, but your heart is black too. Back in the god realm, the god of destruction's expression darkened. This kid's mouth was getting bolder. If he kept this up, the god of destruction could very well devise 18 trials to wear him down. On Sea God Island, Chu Chen sat cross-legged and checked his spirit power. It had reached rank 89. He frowned. He could feel it stagnating. No matter how he cultivated now, progress was infinitesimal. It's because of the soul core. He thought it through. After condensing his first soul core to make the leap into the titled Douluo ranks properly, he needed to condense a second soul core. Only then could he truly enter the titled Douluo level. I'll need to start preparing to condense the second soul core, destruction, he told the god of destruction. Boom! Far out over the dark sea, the sky turned black-purple. A massive shadow was rising from the depths, moving toward them. Chapter 208, the new master of the Soul Beast clan? Chu Chen? Chu Chen looked up and saw the distant horizon darken, roiling with eerie dark purple lightning. Beneath the sea surface, a colossal presence was approaching at terrifying speed, radiating an overwhelming pressure. Chu Chen, that's a powerful spirit beast. Tianmeng Iceworm cried out. It immediately recognized the deep-sea demon whale king Chu Chen had mentioned, and hadn't expected it to reveal itself so readily. Deep-sea demon whale king, Chu Chen said calmly. He knew the whale king had coveted the sea god position for ages. Now that Chu Chen had severed the sea god's legacy, the deep-sea demon whale king had likely reached its breaking point. Tianmeng, you go kill him. Chu Chen patted Tianmeng Iceworm's head without much emotion. Tianmeng Iceworm blinked. Me? You mean? Me? Chu Chen's expression turned serious. You're a 900,000-year beast. Even if you can't defeat him, you should be able to stall him for a while. Tianmeng Iceworm fell silent. Boom! The massive black shadow surged from the deep, leaping from the water and reshaping into a humanoid figure as it landed in the air. It locked eyes on Chu Chen, the black orbs flashing with violence. Human, did you kill High Priestess Poseidon? The deep-sea demon whale king roared, its voice cracking like thunder, laced with fury. It was me, Chu Chen replied. Chu Chen's spirit energy had recovered. The brief depletion after using the life contract had been replenished. He was ready to fight again, and his opponent was the deep-sea demon whale king. To be able to kill High Priestess Poseidon, you humans do have skill, the whale king said, greed sharpening its tone. You must be the successor of some great lineage. Greed flared in the Whale King's pupils as it sensed the faint will of destruction within Chu Chen. That power was intoxicating. Compared to the sea god's power, this destructive aura felt like destiny calling to it. This is the divinity most suited for me to inherit, it thought. If I can devour this human, perhaps I can ascend. Chu Chen met the gaze and smiled faintly. He rose into the sky to confront the Whale King. Two invisible surges of energy collided, tearing across the sea region. The Whale King's strength was on par with High Priestess Poseidon's. Killing it would cost Chu Chen effort, maybe more than a small price. Just as well. I want to devour you and make you my 8th soul beast, Chu Chen said, grinning, the destruction dragon spear in his hand. The million-year spirit beast was the ideal candidate to become his 8th soul beast. It possessed elemental attributes: water, lightning, darkness, destruction, and, by its evolutionary trajectory, a trace of dragon blood might be hidden within. It was almost the perfect match for the destruction ancient dragon. Arrogant, the deep-sea demon Whale King bellowed, wielding two circular, angular, heavy hammers. One swing sent the sky trembling, a million years of cultivation released in a blow that could rend heaven and earth. Chu Chen, good luck. I'll be cheering for you, Tianmeng Iceworm stammered, terrified, and scrambled back into the shelter of the ice god dragon wings. In cultivation, he might be only 10,000 years weaker than the Whale King, but in true combat, the Whale King could probably take dozens, even hundreds of him. Boom. Human, today I will devour you and claim your god position, the Whale King roared, surging forward with boundless spirit energy, the endless power behind it churning as it charged. Freed from any suppression now that the sea god's legacy was broken, it fought without restraint. You dare. Suddenly, an exquisitely beautiful silver figure dropped in front of Chu Chen. She struck out lightly with a jade-like hand, and a blinding silver light detonated, blasting the Whale King back. The force sent the colossal beast tumbling through the sky several times before it stalled, shocked. The Whale King's eyes widened as it stared at the silver-haired woman who had appeared. From her presence, he felt a terrifyingly absolute dominance, a suppression rooted in the depths of his own bloodline. Could she be the co-lord of spirit beasts? Who are you? The Whale King demanded, fixated on her. Chu Chen looked at the newcomer with surprise. Guyo, why are you here? I sensed the dragon pressure you released earlier at the Lake of Life and came to check. Your strength seems to have increased again, the Silver Dragon King said with a smile. Around Chu Chen, her usual frostiness had softened. When she spoke to him, her voice carried a gentle warmth. Chu Chen stepped forward and stood beside her. The Whale King stared, fear and shock clashing in its eyes. You! Who are you? It repeated, more desperate than before. Don't you know my identity? Guye's tone was cool, but it bore the absolute authority of a ruler. Her purple pupils gleamed like stars, and an overwhelming aura burst from her, pressing down on the Whale King. Guye, leave him to me, Chu Chen said. I need this guy as my 8th soul beast. Guye's next words surprised him. Before you came here, I already sent a transmission to Di Tian. Informed him of what? Chu Chen asked, confused. The Dragon Clan shall honor a new lord, Guyo stated calmly. Chu Chen's face registered bewilderment. Her lips curved in a gentle, almost amused smile as she kept her gaze fixed on him. Your destruction ancient dragon carries the supreme Dragon Clan bloodline. The Dragon Clan, and even the Soul Beast clan, should respect you as lord. Therefore, you don't need my approval. She went on without waiting for him to reply. The Soul Beast clan will also support you in becoming a god, breaking the tradition that spirit beasts cannot achieve godhood. Chu Chen was speechless for a moment. In a single twist, he'd been declared the new lord of the Soul Beast clan. The sudden, unimaginable turn of events left him reeling. Chapter 209, Destruction of the Origin. Ice God Dragon Wings Skill, Ice God Possession. Chu Chen had no real intention of taking the title of Dragon Clan Lord, at least not yet. For now, the priority was killing the deep-sea demon Whale King and forcing his destruction ancient dragon spirit into the spirit Douluo realm. That was the most important thing. This human actually has such a deep bond with her. I can't stay here. The deep-sea demon Whale King wasn't a fool. Against Chu Chen alone, he might have stood a chance, but with Silver Dragon King added to the fight, he had no hope. Silver Dragon King's strength already outmatched his, and coupled with the overwhelming pressure of the co-lord of spirit beasts, staying would be suicide. With a roar, he dove toward the seabed, turning into a black shadow and vanishing. With his power, he could disappear from Chu Chen and Silver Dragon King's sight in an instant, but he could not escape Chu Chen's terrifying spirit perception. As Chu Chen locked onto him, the temperature of heaven and earth plummeted. Even though Chu Chen hovered thousands of meters above, the sea surface below froze into solid ice, and behind him, ultimate ice condensed into the ice god dragon wings. Silver Dragon King watched with curiosity. The aura coming from those wings was strikingly familiar, like the Tianmeng ice worm and the Ice and Fire Dragon Kings. The Fire Dragon King's power seemed suppressed, but the origin influence remained. Chu Chen, however, needed no help from the Fire Dragon King to unleash the Ice God Dragon Wing's ultimate attribute. Chu Chen vanished in a streak of ice blue light and swept forward at impossible speed, faster than anyone on the continent. Even Silver Dragon King had to use space-bending power to keep pace. The seawater around the fleeing deep-sea demon whale king froze instantly, not mere cold, but an ultimate elemental law that crystallized the water and the whale king together. He stared in shock. Before he could react, Chu Chen drove a spear through the ice, and the deep-sea demon whale king reappeared in a human guise, glaring. "Human, do you truly mean to drive me into a corner?" he spat. "Don't think the co-lord's protection makes you untouchable," Chu Chen said coolly, holding the scepter of destruction. "In this ocean, no one is certain of killing me, deep-sea demon whale king." The whale king knew he couldn't flee. He gripped a circular heavy hammer and charged. Their clash in midair sent energy cracking across the frozen sea until the ice shattered into shards. The voice of the god of destruction surfaced in Chu Chen's mind. "Chu Chen, your god-king affinity has risen above 60%. You can now use the supreme origin of destruction." Origin of destruction. Chu Chen's heart leapt. He felt the power radiate from his hand and sweep across the world. Black gold light fell like fire on the deep-sea demon whale king, who felt invisible flames of annihilation gnawing at his soul and burning his body. "Judgment of destruction," Chu Chen cried, calling down the will of judgment through his scepter. A black-purple blade of light plunged from the sky, and under the Origin's ultimate will, the air shrieked. The deep-sea demon whale king tried to meet the strike, but he was forced backward, a hideous wound opening on his arm. Elemental control. With the whale king's recoil, the space around him twisted and solidified, Silver Dragon King intervening. Guyu's mastery of space far outstripped Chu Chen's. She didn't strike so much as bind and twist the battlefield to hold their foe. For Chu Chen, that was more than enough. He drew destruction lightning down through his scepter until he stood like a thunderlord, the origin of destruction in his hand surging ever stronger. Sensing death, the deep-sea demon whale king's pupils flared crimson. He ripped free from the spatial binding and, spinning his heavy hammer, launched himself at Chu Chen. In that instant, Chu Chen released the Ice God Dragon Wings skill. Ice God Dragon Wings. Ice God Possession. The wings unfolded and became a frost armor that settled over Chu Chen. He struck, and the overwhelming origin of destruction hit the Whale King at the same moment. The effect was instantaneous. The deep-sea demon Whale King's movements froze, and he plummeted 10,000 meters, riddled with wounds and bleeding, grievously injured. Terror finally showed in his eyes. Chu Chen was only a spirit Douluo. How could a single blow injure him so severely? And what was that frost armor? A third ultimate element? Ultimate life? Ultimate destruction? Ultimate ice? Three terrifying ultimates converging in one man. Chu Chen's ultimate ice seemed to belong to an existence outside his cultivation system, yet he had fused it perfectly with his own power. Ice God Possession uses the power contained in the Ice God Dragon Wings to vastly increase my strength for a short time, Chu Chen thought, speaking mentally with the Tianmeng ice worm. "Heh, keep it low-key. Too bad you wouldn't let me give you a third spirit, kid. Otherwise, I might have even tricked Bing Bing into coming over," the ice worm teased. Chu Chen fell silent. He returned his attention to the badly wounded deep-sea demon whale king below. Raising the scepter of destruction, it burst with brilliant light. It was time to end him. "Human, spare me. I'll leave this sea area right now. I will never provoke you again." The deep-sea demon whale king, the overlord of the depths, was on its knees, begging Chu Chen for mercy. Chu Chen's face was unreadable as he gathered the surging origin of destruction in his hand, the purest, most absolute destructive force wielded by a god of destruction. It had condensed on the destruction dragon spear, making the weapon even more terrifying. It was the kind of power that could truly wipe things from existence. Damn it! Seeing Chu Chen unmoved, the Whale King's eyes flashed blood red. In a final desperate bid, it surged into the sky and shifted back to its true form. The enormous body opened its maw, and a single cyclopean eye, bright as a moon, turned toward him. Chu Chen coordinated every fragment of his strength with the Mountain Dragon King's spirit bone's extreme gravity control. Boom! The very air quivered. The world seemed to hold its breath. Silver Dragon King hovered nearby, watching. Chu Chen's victory had become inevitable. After absorbing the deep-sea demon whale king's soul ring, he may well step into the titled Douluo, someone murmured. If that happens, there may be no one on this continent who can match him. On the Douluo continent, in a place steeped in cold, blood-red killing intent, a broken body lay amid ruined earth. It was a grotesque sight. Mangled flesh, a chest pierced through, pieces of tissue that hadn't even had time to heal. It was Tang. Within his shattered chest, a faint heartbeat stubbornly fought to stitch itself together. Beside him hovered a blood-colored figure, a divine thought of the Asura god. He had brought Tang-san's body here with the explicit intention of fully resurrecting him. Damn that Chu Chen, the Asura god spat. Another presence made itself known, the sea god, furious and vengeful. That Chu Chen actually killed the high priestess Poseidon and shattered my sea god island. My legacy is severed. He was incandescent with hatred. If the sea god could attack Chu Chen directly, he would have done so long ago. How is the sea god trident? The Asura god asked heavily. Shattered, but I can recondense it, the sea god replied, each word dripping with resentment. The Asura god's face went cold. First, we must use our legacies to completely resurrect Tang-san. Given how things have turned out, Chu Chen killing him has actually worked to our advantage. The Asura god smiled without warmth as he explained his plan. Tang-san's body is broken. If we use our legacies to restructure it, we can force his physical body to step into the godly grade realm. Not only that, we can push his strength to the peak of humanity in a single leap. After that, all that remains is for him to accept our final legacy. The sea god frowned, uncertain. Isn't that too rushed? Do you have a better plan? If we wait until Chu Chen reaches the god realm, if that day comes, even if the two of us combine our power, we won't match him. The Asura god's words were blunt and final. If Chu Chen truly became a divinity and mastered dual god-king positions, then the window to stop him would be gone. Fine, the sea god finally conceded. Boom! Chu Chen's world-destroying strike landed. A golden soul ring emerged, and alongside it a powerful million-year spirit bone condensed from the deep-sea demon whale king's essence. Now I have 3 top-tier spirit bones, the dark demon evil god tiger king, the violet imperial heaven-extinguishing dragon, and the deep-sea demon whale king. Chu Chen muttered, a hint of ruefulness in his voice. But I have nowhere to use them right now. At a time like this, he wished he had 3 heads and 6 arms. Hey, those spirit bones will be useful later. Put them away first, then absorb the destruction ancient dragon's soul ring, someone chimed. Tianmeng Iceworm slipped out from within the ice god dragon wings. When it saw Silver Dragon King, it was startled, then awkwardly bowed. My lady, greetings. I am Tianmeng. Silver Dragon King smiled faintly and gave way. Tianmeng Iceworm and Chu Chen moved forward and stowed the spirit bone. Then Chu Chen turned his attention to the golden million-year soul ring of the deep-sea demon whale king and began to absorb it. Brilliant light flooded his body as the precious ring's power integrated with him. The colors inside his mind flashed. Reds, orange golds, white golds, pure gold, vivid and alive. My spirit power has reached rank 89. Perhaps, after absorbing this ring, I can step into the titled Douluo, Chu Chen said solemnly. The challenge of advancing now was far greater than before. Condensing a first soul core had given him an enormous power boost, but it had also made the path to becoming a titled Douluo much harder. If he wanted to reclaim that earlier ease, there was only one way. condense a second soul core. The moment he began to take in the ring's energy, that first soul core within him reacted violently, forming a terrifying black hole that began to devour everything around it. Energy, light, the very aura of the battlefield rushed into that void. Chu Chen's face tightened. Absorbing a million-year soul ring was not impossible for him, but pushing through into the titled Douluo was destined to be a long, secluded struggle. Guyu, I'm going to take this chance to break through into the titled Douluo. It won't be quick, he communicated to Silver Dragon King through their link. Don't worry, you can focus entirely on the breakthrough. I will be at your side. Silver Dragon King's calm voice answered, freeing him to pursue the attempt without hesitation. Tianmeng Iceworm settled on Chu Chen's shoulder as well. Condensing a second soul core would be much harder than the first. Success would hinge on Chu Chen's willpower. He chose the element that defined him. My second soul core, destruction. He used the ultimate element he commanded to form the second core. 3 days blurred by. The deep-sea demon whale king's soul ring gradually stabilized, and Chu Chen finished absorbing it. At this point, his spirit power had climbed to rank 89, only one step away from achieving the titled Douluo title. Success! Tianmeng Iceworm cheered. At least the soul ring absorption succeeded. Silver Dragon King watched him quietly, knowing that even with the ring absorbed, Chu Chen still faced a long, difficult road ahead before the second soul core could be fully integrated and the breakthrough completed. Chapter 211. Di Tian strikes again, repelling Bibidong Heaven Do Empire, Heaven Do City. With Chu Chen gone, the wars on the Douluo continent grew ever fiercer. The Star Luo Empire and the Heaven Do Empire formed an alliance and raised a joint army to resist the Spirit Empire. And with a powerhouse like Dugubo present, even the Spirit Empire found conquest difficult. At present, only Bibidong could reasonably contend with Dugubo. Senior Dugu, your 28 is. Yilingling felt the terrifying radiating from Dugubo's body. After a moment of stunned silence, joy burst across her face. Boom, the point inside Dugubo erupted. His jade phosphor serpent spirit finally completed its transformation. The serpent ascended and coiled into a dragon above Heaven Do City, the process of its metamorphosis visible for miles. Simultaneously, Dugubo's 28 truly stepped into the 38 of a rank 99-14, making him the third living fort in the 37. The first two were, of course, Qiandolu and Bibidong. Haha, so this is the 38 of a 14. Dugubo felt as if the energies of heaven and earth obeyed his every motion. Compared to rank 98, he was incomparably stronger. Yet there was no 36 core inside him. In this era, the 36 core cultivation system had not yet been established. The path of 36 cores that Chu Chen would later follow was a thing of the future. Roar. The Jade Phosphor Serpent, now rightly called the Jade Phosphor Dragon Emperor, roared to the heavens. The majestic 40 it unleashed swept across the entire Heaven Do Empire, detectable even thousands of miles away. Dugubo's skull and torso spirit bones seemed to resonate, and that resonance caused his ninth spirit ring, the Medusa 29, to shift directly from black to red, a 100,000-year spirit ring. The resonance of 2 Medusa spirit bones actually allowed my ninth spirit ring to finish transforming. Dugubo cried, astonished. Near Heaven Do City, a figure slowly emerged, Bibidong. When she felt that 40, disbelief filled her eyes. That old trash Dugubo was only rank 91 a few years ago. How could he break through to 14 so fast? What on earth did he experience? His cultivation speed was terrifying. Dugubo's innate talent alone should never have carried him to force. Only with Chu Chen's aid, by suppressing the poison in his body and assembling a complete set of spirit bones, could his talent be raised so far. His Medusa spirit bone had even evolved to a 100,000-year level, and now his ninth ring had matched it. What had once been his last shortcoming, no 100,000-year spirit ring, had been filled. While his 38 is still unstable after the 26, killing him outright might be the best option. Beside Bibidong stood 3 other figures, all titled Douluo, who had come to inspect the situation in Heaven Do City and had just witnessed Dugubo's rise from 26 to 14. You 3 go back first. The army still needs people to oversee it, Bibidong ordered. I will return after I kill that old trash Douluo. Dong condensed surging Rakshasa divine force in her hands, intending to kill Douluo with a single decisive strike. She could already channel the power of the Rakshasa god, a force comparable to sea god's light or the origin of destruction. An evil light flickered in her eyes as she prepared to strike. Boom! For a moment, heaven and earth fell silent. Space tore, and a dragon claw shimmering with black gold light descended like a falling star, the momentum to rend the sky. The claw warped space and seemed to freeze time. Carrying true divine 40, it smashed toward Dong without mercy. Who? Dong went pale. The force of the dragon claw blow made her soul tremble. She poured Rakshasa divine force into a defense. The impact drew Douluo's attention. The sudden black gold strike hurled Dong dozens of miles before she managed to stop. Her chest panted, a grievous wound marking her side. She glared, then saw Tian walking forward. 10,000 dragon flames. Tian raised his hand indifferently and unleashed the purest dark flames. Heaven and earth seemed to hush as the black-purple fire blasted down at Dong. A black-purple spider shadow appeared behind her. She condensed Rakshasa power into 2 intersecting light blades and slashed back. Space collapsed in layers where the blades met Tian's 10,000 dragon flames. Who are you? Dong demanded, enraged and fearful. Years ago, if Tian had not appeared, she would already have killed Chu Chen. There were too many complications now. Beast God, Tian. Tian answered calmly, pride in his voice. Beast God, a spirit beast. How could there be such a powerful spirit beast? Dong found the notion unbelievable. Tian's strength was terrifying. Even she had little chance against him. He already stood at the 39 of this 37. And that silver-haired woman she'd met before. Could she be a spirit beast as well? Damn it. Dong turned and left, unwilling to be drawn into a fight. If a battle erupted and Douluo joined in, even she might fall. Thank you, Beast God, Douluo said, cupping his fists in thanks. If Tian had not intervened, Dong's sneak attack might have succeeded. No matter, this was also the command of my Soul Beast Clan's 34. Tian said without emphasis, then returned to Chuer's side. Douluo stood there utterly bewildered. What did Tian mean by the Soul Beast Clan's 34? Wasn't the co-lord of spirit beasts the Silver Dragon King? Could it be the Silver Dragon King had taken a companion? Could it be that kid? Several months passed in the blink of an eye. On Sea God Island, Chu Chen's 40 had quieted, but he was like a bottomless black hole, ravenously absorbing the surrounding energies of heaven and earth. The Ho 28 in his body grew increasingly terrifying. Why can't I condense it yet? Chu Chen frowned, anxiety tinting his voice. The 5 simply could not be fully condensed. The 28 and 19 he needed were unbearably fierce. If he rushed, he risked destroying his own cultivation. One more try. Chu Chen compressed his 28 again, compressing it to the limit. A faint black hole began to form. Chapter 212, Second Soul Core, Destruction. Advancement to titled Douluo. Condensing a second soul core wasn't entirely new to Chu Chen, but he had still underestimated how difficult it would be. Although he had preemptively condensed his first soul core near his heart to avoid direct conflict with the second, the gravitational pull between them still nearly ripped his body apart. Chu Chen's face twisted in agony. The embryonic form of the soul core he had been forcing into being suddenly dissipated. He himself suffered severe trauma, coughing up blood, but he forced himself onward, pouring his 60 into condensing the second soul core. The 60 in his body gradually shifted, flowing like liquid at first, and finally hardening into a solid. All the 16 energy from the surrounding heaven and earth surged into him. Silver Dragon King and Tianmeng Iceworm watched from the side, their expressions grave. If this keeps up, his body will collapse, Silver Dragon King said, anxious. With her strength, she couldn't directly aid Chu Chen without interrupting the entire condensation process, and forcibly interrupting it would cause tremendous harm to him. It was a last, desperate option. The embryonic second core churned in his hands, releasing a terrifying Force 6. Chu Chen felt his 16 drain almost instantly. Should we force it to stop? Silver Dragon King asked hesitantly. She knew how rare this opportunity was for Chu Chen. Tianmeng Iceworm stared in silence, inscrutable. Success felt so close. Chu Chen had reached the final, critical moment. His power became increasingly violent, teetering on the brink of spiraling out of control. If the Sixth Sin erupted, he channeled the power of destiny into the forming core and released his 13 completely to steady the 16. The core stabilized, but his body worsened. His 16 was nearly depleted. Even his 13 was exhausted. He swayed on the verge of collapse. Chu Chen, he's about to hit his limit. Tianmeng Iceworm cried out. Silver Dragon King ground her teeth, ready to forcibly stop the process even if it left him severely weakened. Let me. Before she could act, Tianmeng Iceworm released his Third Tan and Origin Qi. 3 spirit bones flashed into existence on Chu Chen's body. The weakest of the 3 had 200,000 years of cultivation, the dark demon evil god Tiger King, the violet imperial heaven extinguishing dragon, and the deep sea demon Whale King. What are you doing? Silver Dragon King demanded. I'm having Chu Chen absorb these 3 spirit bones, Tianmeng Iceworm said solemnly. I want their power to balance the solidifying healing so the second core can finish forming. It was an extremely dangerous move, even with the mental link between Tianmeng and Chu Chen. Silver Dragon King frowned. He already has a full set of spirit bones. Can he still absorb more? He can, Tianmeng Iceworm replied. The ice god dragon wings I bestowed on Chu Chen are special. They don't let those bones become part of his skeleton, but they allow the power of those spirit bones to merge completely into his body. Tianmeng had no time to wait. He released platinum-colored Origin Qi and wrapped Chu Chen. Under his control, the 3 spirit bones merged into the ice god dragon wings on Chu Chen's back. The wings condensed icy power and surged upward. The spirit bones transformed into pure energy and began to fuse into Chu Chen, with Tianmeng's Origin Qi acting as the crucial medium. Without such vast Origin Qi, integration would have been nearly impossible. It actually works, Silver Dragon King murmured, surprised. She tapped her own energy and sent a stream of pure power into Tianmeng Iceworm, extending his capacity so he could maintain the process longer. Another month passed. The 16 filling the sky had condensed entirely within Chu Chen. His body radiated a brilliant light until he seemed almost transparent. In his Dantian, the second soul core shone with blinding brilliance. A high-speed, black-gold rotating 16 black hole emitted a heart-stopping 6. Chu Chen concentrated until the second soul core stabilized. At the very moment the second core formed, his 16 broke through to rank 90. He descended from the sky and raised his hand. A destructive dragon shadow spiraled behind him as the destruction ancient dragon avatar manifested once more. I've finally taken this step. Chu Chen breathed, a note of relief in his voice. Inside him, blue gold and black gold lights condensed, the 2 great soul cores he had forged. The first soul core, life. The second soul core, destruction. All that remained was to absorb his final 9th spirit ring, and he would truly be a titled Douluo. Tianmeng, thank you, he sent to Tianmeng Iceworm in his mind. Tianmeng, however, seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep. Serving as the medium for absorbing the spirit bone power had nearly exhausted his Tang. He would need a long rest to recover, yet a powerful vitality radiated from his body. The final Fortan on him shone brightly and gradually solidified. After absorbing part of that power, is he actually going to become a true million-year spirit beast? Chu Chen thought, both surprised and glad for Tianmeng Iceworm. He landed on the ruins of Sea God Island. Silver Dragon King stood at his side, smiling. They exchanged a look, and Chu Chen spoke aloud. Thank you for everything. Now that you've become a titled Douluo, Silver Dragon King said wryly, there might not be any spirit beasts left on this continent suitable for you. Chu Chen's 8th 17 was already at the million-year level. For the 9th spirit ring, if it wasn't a million-year ring, he probably wouldn't even consider it. Wait for the later trials. I can still obtain a 4. No need to worry, Chu Chen said with a hearty laugh. They rose together, side by side, and soared into the sky, leaving Sea God Island behind. From this moment on, the Sea God's legacy was truly severed. After Chu Chen and the Silver Dragon King returned to the continent together, the Silver Dragon King accepted Chu Chen's invitation and came to Heaven Do City as a guest. Months slipped by in the blink of an eye, and Chu Chen found himself wondering how Ye Lingling and the others were doing. He felt a little sentimental, but these months had been the most productive he'd ever had. He'd advanced his destruction ancient dragon progress to the 8th stage, attained the title of titled Douluo in another of his spirit attributes, and condensed a 2nd spirit core, even though he still hadn't acquired a 9th spirit ring. His combat power had skyrocketed. Among all the titled Douluo, he was now unquestionably at the top. Across the whole continent, hardly anyone could truly claim they could defeat him. Heaven Do City itself hadn't changed much outwardly, but Chu Chen could sense a new presence. Old poison had broken through as well during his absence. Chu Chen and the Silver Dragon King landed below the city. Ditian and Chuer appeared almost instantly. The Silver Dragon King's aura drew Ditian's attention. He bowed respectfully. He showed the same deference to Chu Chen, though Chu Chen gently stopped him. "Senior Ditian, thank you for everything while I was away," Chu Chen said with a smile. "It wasn't much," Ditian replied casually. "Hardly any work at all." "Chu Chen!" Chuer bounded forward and hugged him, all excitement. "You're finally back." Chuer dragged Chu Chen along, insisting they go find Ye Lingling. Chu Chen didn't resist. Ditian and the Silver Dragon King followed behind. Ditian noticed the Silver Dragon King's conflicted expression and grinned. "My lord, in this matter, you've lost out to the auspicious beast." The Silver Dragon King's gaze sharpened coldly, making Ditian clamp his mouth shut. Then, after a moment, the Silver Dragon King asked quietly, "Ditian, what should I do?" Ditian scratched his head, completely at a loss. He couldn't very well tell his lord to act like Chuer and cling to Chu Chen like a spoiled child. That simply didn't fit the Silver Dragon King's nature. "How does Emerald Swan normally behave around him?" he ventured. The bluntness made Ditian nearly choke. "How did you explain the subtleties of affection?" He sighed inwardly. The Silver Dragon King had truly fallen in love, but had no idea how to express it. If the love had been for any other person, Ditian would probably have forbidden it outright, but Chu Chen was the exception. He supported Chu Chen completely, grudgingly grumbling at the same time. Both the Silver Dragon King and Chuer were peerless beauties and held supreme status within the Soul Beast clan, and yet they both adored the same man. "Damn Chu Chen," Ditian muttered, though he had no power to do anything about it. The group made their way to the current Heaven Do Spirit Master Academy. Ye Lingling and Dugu Yan were now teachers there, both at the Spirit Emperor level and not far from breaking through to Spirit Saint, so they fit the roles perfectly. Dugu Bo was already in seclusion as a Grand Elder. Chu Chen had been preoccupied with another concern. Lingling's 9-heart begonia spirit, its inheritance rules, were horrible. It seemed like a curse. The lineage's inheritance appeared tied to the death of Mother Ye, meaning her own heir would require her passing. He'd been wondering whether the Goddess of Life might have a way to resolve it. After all, the 9-heart begonia was closely tied to the ultimate power of life, so the Goddess of Life seemed the obvious place to ask. Ye Lingling burst into tears of joy when she saw Chu Chen return. Once they had reunited, Chu Chen caught up on what had happened across the continent in his absence. Most of it revolved around Bibi Dong's movements. Old Poison had entered seclusion too. His 99th breakthrough still needed to stabilize. Then, the gentle voice of the Goddess of Life echoed in Chu Chen's mind. His trial for the Life God King had advanced. The 8th trial had arrived. Comprehend the ancient life essence and refine it into an origin seed. There was no time limit for the trial. With only the 8th and 9th trials left, he could practically taste completion. Could the trial's ancient life essence be the golden ancient tree that would exist 10,000 years hence? Its lifeblood was entwined with the Douluo continent, and that place was near the Lake of Life. Chu Chen worried about how refining that essence into a life seed might affect the Soul Beast clan or the continent itself. He raised the other matter aloud. "Senior, what about the 9-heart begonia?" Before he could finish, the Goddess of Life answered, "No need to worry. The moment you had Ye Lingling consume the immortal herb and cause the 9-heart begonia to evolve, the problematic inheritance traits were removed. Go with her to comprehend beneath the ancient life essence. It will help her fully refine the spirit's characteristics so they will no longer affect future generations." Chu Chen stared for a beat, then exhaled in relief. The weight he'd carried for so long had already been lifted without him knowing. He shared the news with Yelingling. She was ecstatic. Could her long-standing spirit curse really be solved so simply? Heavenly advice doesn't usually lie, Chu Chen said with a smile, then joked, unless the god of destruction is pretending to be her again. The Silver Dragon King and Detian both nodded when Chu Chen explained. They had no objections. Chapter 214, The God of Destruction's Mad Idea, the Golden Dragon King, the God Realm. That kid Chu Chen was cursing me again just now. Little Green, I must say, this successor we're mentoring doesn't seem to respect me much. The God of Destruction spoke with a face full of mock melancholy. Is it any wonder? You disguised yourself as me and tortured him to death so many times, the Goddess of Life replied, half laughing and half crying. Wasn't that your idea? The God of Destruction made an innocent face, then sighed with admiration. Still, Chu Chen hasn't disappointed me. As my successor, he's done even better than I did back then. About his 9th spirit ring, what do you propose? The Goddess of Life pondered for a moment before deciding. Naturally, you and I will have to do the heavy lifting. With his current strength, there are no spirit beasts left on the Douluo continent suitable for him. Unless we go after Detian and the Silver Dragon King, the God of Destruction suggested teasingly. The Goddess of Life laughed. She knew he was joking. Then, unexpectedly, the God of Destruction's expression shifted. His eyes grew distant, thoughtful. The Goddess of Life, puzzled, asked, "What's wrong, Little Purple?" After a long pause, as if feeling the idea was too wild even to voice, he still spoke. Detian and the Silver Dragon King have a deep connection to Chu Chen. Especially the Silver Dragon King. She and Chu Chen might even be a fated pair. Those are things we can't meddle with, but he trailed off. Isn't there another one? The Goddess of Life's beautiful face changed. Even with her heart nature, she couldn't help but exclaim in alarm, "Little Purple, are you insane? You want to?" Isn't that fellow still sealed in the God realm? The God of Destruction continued. If you and I, together with the other divinities, truly kill him, couldn't we condense his 12 and let Chu Chen absorb it as his most terrifying 9th spirit ring? The idea was wild. The Goddess of Life felt the chill of it. Little Purple, even with our combined strength, there's no certainty we could slay him, even if we included the 7 great primal sin gods. She spoke solemnly. This wasn't a joke. She meant the very being the God of Destruction had just named. Even a God King could not easily defeat him. The Golden Dragon King has been sealed for countless ages. One day he'll undoubtedly break free, and a terrible war between him and the God realm will erupt. Since that's true, then why can't we scheme to make him Chu Chen's 9th spirit ring? A flame lit in the God of Destruction's eyes. He seemed to have made up his mind. For this, we'll have to borrow the influence of the 2 God Kings, kindness and evil. The Asura god won't help us. The Goddess of Life frowned. Of course, the Asura god would never want to aid the God of Destruction. The two already nursed a mutual grudge because of their successors. He would never suspect that my purpose in wanting to slay the Golden Dragon King is to make him Chu Chen's 5th fiends. Right now, I still maintain an outwardly good relationship with Asura, and kindness and evil also want the Golden Dragon King eliminated. If I present this to the God Realm Committee, the vote would be 4-1. The God of Destruction smiled. Besides, don't forget the Golden Dragon King hates Asura above all others. When the seal is broken, he continued, he will hunt Asura to kill him. Then do you think Asura will still hold back? The Goddess of Life saw the logic and smiled wryly. You've really set your sights on Asura this time. This could work, but you should inform Chu Chen. The God of Destruction blinked. Inform him? That kid only needs to wait to absorb the 515. You don't expect me to ask him for help, do you? There aren't many divinities as responsible as me these days. The Goddess of Life shook her head. She thought of things the God of Destruction had not. By Chu Chen's side is the Silver Dragon King. In her eyes, the Golden Dragon King is probably already dead, but this can't be hidden. You're going to slay the Golden Dragon King. That's one thing, but you should tell Chu Chen first. Let Chu Chen explain it to the Silver Dragon King. After all, the current Silver Dragon King stands by Chu Chen. The God of Destruction, noting his wife's meticulousness, nodded and sent out his divine sense. Douluo continent, Heaven Do Empire. When Chu Chen's consciousness returned, the shock in his eyes lingered. Even if he were looking for trouble, he could never have imagined this. Hunting the Golden Dragon King to become his ninth spirit ring. It turned out the god of destruction had already thought of it and intended to do it. He hadn't been asking Chu Chen's opinion so much as notifying him. Holy crap, this god of destruction is unbelievable, Chu Chen muttered. Far away in the god realm, the god of destruction, sensing Chu Chen's reaction, twitched his lips. Chu Chen collected himself. If the Golden Dragon King truly became the ninth spirit ring for his destruction ancient dragon, it would likely be the strongest ninth spirit ring in history, and he wouldn't have to personally hunt the Golden Dragon King. The 5 great god kings were already in the god realm. Under pressure, Asura would surely join the crusade against the Golden Dragon King for the sake of appearances. He only had to wait and absorb the 15. I should still tell Guyuena. In her eyes, the Golden Dragon King is dead, but they do share the same 21 after all. Chu Chen sought out Guyuena and explained everything. The Golden Dragon King is actually only sealed, he told her. Guyuena was stunned. She had always believed the Golden Dragon King perished. Now to learn he was merely sealed. The senior god of destruction told me, Chu Chen continued. After slaying the Golden Dragon King, his origin will be condensed and given to me. When I turn it into my ninth spirit ring, I can separate a wisp of his origin and give it to you. Maybe you could become the new dragon god. Guyuena was astonished. She wasn't so much surprised by the possibility of becoming the new dragon god. She had always hoped for power, but that the god realm would allow the Golden Dragon King's origin to be handed over to her. It must be because of Chu Chen, she thought. Guyuena accepted gladly. If she could obtain the Golden Dragon King's origin, she indeed had a chance to become the new dragon god. If that came to pass, it wouldn't be too late to deal with Asura. If you need it, I won't object, she told him. And if I can't become the new dragon god, I'll still help you become that being. Chapter 215, The Extreme God of Destruction. Chu Chen heads to Jialing Pass. Chu Chen hadn't expected Guyue, after accepting his identity, to go so far for him. His eyes flickered as he took in her startled expression. He stepped forward and for a fleeting moment drew her into his arms. Thanks, Guyue, he said with a smile. A rare flush crept across Guyue's cool, beautiful face. She averted her eyes and answered vaguely, so softly that even she couldn't tell what she had said. In the god realm, murmurs spread. This kid, Chu Chen, surprises me. He even won over the Silver Dragon King, one god remarked. The god of destruction laughed, already certain of Chu Chen's intentions and confident it was time to finish off the Golden Dragon King. But before that, he would take the risk of loosening part of the seal. Little Purple's idea is extreme, someone muttered. Little Purple has always been like this. If I didn't rein him in. The goddess of life smiled faintly, but this time she actually approved of the god of destruction's wild plan. To give Chu Chen the absolute perfect ninth spirit ring, the risk had to be taken. A short time later, inside the God Realm Committee, panic and disbelief filled the chamber. What? The Golden Dragon King's seal is loosening. How could this happen now? Cried the god of goodness and the god of evil in alarm. The Golden Dragon King's seal had been stable for ages. It should not have faltered so soon. Destruction, is this true? The Asura god asked, skeptical. He distrusted the god of destruction's temperament, but since this concerned the Golden Dragon King, he had to take it seriously. Even if the god of destruction and he were at odds, he would never joke about the safety of the god realm. The god of destruction's face grew grave. The Golden Dragon King's seal has indeed loosened. If he breaks free, the god realm cannot withstand the devastation. What do you propose? The god of goodness demanded. Take the initiative and slay him completely, the god of destruction replied confidently. With the 5 of us combined, our chances are very high. He paused, feigning consideration in a calculated manner that left little room for criticism. It was true, the Golden Dragon King's strength was enormous. None of them could be sure to beat him one-on-one. Their only hope of killing him was to work together. The war to kill the Golden Dragon King will cause heavy losses to the god realm, the Asura god argued. The battle will affect the whole realm. On the day he breaks free, The losses will be even greater. The god of destruction retorted coldly. The god of goodness and the god of evil fell silent to think. They did not fault the god of destruction. This was simply his way. If he isn't killed completely, he remains a major hidden danger. Better to be decisive, the god of evil advised. With their combined might, they could likely slay him, so long as they took measures to limit collateral damage. It would be best to resolve this once and for all. Reluctantly, the god of goodness agreed. The Golden Dragon King would escape sooner or later, might as well strike while his seal was weak. The decision was made, 4-1. The Asura god outvoted could do nothing but accept the result, though inwardly his thoughts turned darker. Then he quietly resolved, if an opportunity arises, I'll take it and destroy the Golden Dragon King myself. Meanwhile, Chu Chen's seclusion had ended, and Douluo was overjoyed to find him. "Ha! I didn't expect you to become a titled Douluo too, kid. Why haven't you gone for your 9th spirit ring yet?" Douluo teased. "Old poison, how have you been?" Chu Chen asked. "Better than ever. Thanks to you, I'm now a 9 as well," Douluo said, patting his chest proudly. Douluo updated Chu Chen on recent events. Bibi Dong's failed sneak attack on Heaven Do City that ended with her being badly wounded by Tian, and the fact that Bibi Dong's spirit empire had stationed powerful forces at Jialing Pass within the Heaven Do Empire's borders, guarded by several titled Douluo. The Heaven Do Empire was determined to retake that strategic pass. Jialing Pass had always been a contested choke point. No one could afford to leave it to the Spirit Empire. Chu Chen pondered for a moment and then made up his mind. "I'll pay Bibi Dong's Spirit Empire a visit," he said, a cold smile playing at his lips. Before he meditated on the one, it was time to settle his score with Bibi Dong properly. "I'm going with you," Douluo declared. With the strength of a 9, he feared no one on the continent except for a handful of specific opponents. "All right, Heaven Do City will be safe for the moment. Senior Tian is still here," Chu Chen replied. Yuan Zhen volunteered to join them, and Chu Chen consented. "The goal is to retake Jialing Pass. If we can kill Bibi Dong, so much the better." There would be no mercy. Bibi Dong had tried to murder him, and they were now mortal enemies. "Don't we need to muster an army?" Douluo asked. In this world, the power of spirit masters decides outcomes. Even a 1,000,000-strong force could suffer 10,000 casualties from a single titled Douluo's spirit ability. We can't let the soldiers of Heaven Do waste their lives on a fool's charge. "No," Chu Chen said, shaking his head. "The 3 of us are enough." War was decided by the strongest. If Bibi Dong died, the conflict would end. Once preparations were complete, the 3 left Heaven Do City and set out for Jialing Pass. At the same time, in the God Realm, the 5 God Kings led by the God of Destruction descended upon the Golden Dragon King's sealing ground. They felt the earth-shattering aura pressing against them, and their faces grew extremely solemn. Destruction was right. The Golden Dragon King's seal has loosened. The God of Goodness whispered as a terrifying 21 erupted. Jialing Pass. The Spirit Empire's army, led by Bibi Dong, had long held this strategic position. After Douluo and the elders had forced Bibi Dong out of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, she had no choice but to make Jialing Pass her base, gathering the Empire's elite in one place in a bid to reunify Douluo. Damn that Douluo. "Once I achieve godhood, the first thing I'll destroy is your angel lineage," Bibi Dong muttered, a sinister expression on her face as she stood atop the 100-meter-high city wall, lost in thought. "Your Majesty." Beside her appeared Ghost Leopard Douluo and Spirit Kite Douluo. With them was Tuoba Shi, sect master of the Sacred Dragon Sect. "Star Luo City has fallen, but the Star Luo Emperor escaped," Tuoba Shi reported. "We suspect he fled to the Heaven Do Empire. We've already seized all the Star Luo Empire's mineral resources. With time, the Spirit Empire's strength will increase greatly." Hearing this, Bibi Dong's expression softened ever so slightly. Douluo had gutted much of her power. Guimei, Yoguan, and Devil Bear Douluo had been slain by Chu Chen, while Snaance Douluo and Porcupine Fish Douluo had been taken back to the Elder Hall. The Spirit Empire simply didn't have enough titled Douluo-level fighters anymore. If this continued, she had no confidence in conquering the Douluo continent. "Douluo, Qian Renshui, you actually turned against me for Chu Chen," she said, grief and anger twisting her face. Once she had been willing to give everything for love like Qian Renshui, but she had ended up betrayed and abandoned. I must achieve godhood. Only by becoming the Rakshasa god can I not only kill Chu Chen, but also destroy the legacy of the Angel clan. Then the entire Douluo continent will be mine. Her laughter grew arrogant, but before she could savor the thought, a terrifying surge of spirit force descended from the sky and struck toward her. Boom! Bibi Dong reacted quickly, dispersing the attack in midair. Who is it? Alarm spread through Jialing Pass. Through Bibi Dong's bewildered, shocked gaze, Chu Chen's figure slowly descended. "Long time no see," he said with a faint smile. A terrifying spirit aura surrounded him. A few ordinary soldiers who rushed to attack exploded instantly, dying gruesome deaths. "Chu Chen!" Bibi Dong's eyes went blood-red. "I didn't expect you to dare come here alone to seek death." She unleashed a powerful burst of spirit power from her Death Spider Emperor spirit, pressing it down on Chu Chen. But Chu Chen had faced high-level opponents before. With a wave of his hand, the spirit aura of ultimate life blossomed, intersecting and blocking Bibi Dong's attack. "I didn't come to die," he said calmly. "I came to preside over the funeral of your spirit empire." Blue-gold light swirled around his fingertips like dancing threads. His gaze was sharp as a blade. "Go! Tear them apart!" Huyan Zhen's elephant armor legion charged instantly, countless diamond mammoths thundering forward like beasts of steel, devouring everything in their path. "Diamond mammoths?" Chu Chen smiled. He released 8 spirit rings of his blue-silver emperor. Red, black, 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 red, 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 red. The configuration of his spirit rings froze Huyan Zhen in place. He stared at Chu Chen in stunned disbelief. How is this possible? Bibi Dong saw the many 100,000-year spirit rings circling Chu Chen and couldn't hide her mix of resentment and avarice. The diamond mammoths roared and surged forward. The eye of destiny on Chu Chen's forehead opened, and he released a destiny-infused spirit strike. Destiny Judgment! Jialing Pass was instantly bathed in Chu Chen's spirit technique. The power of destiny cut through the Elephant Armor Legion's defenses. Huyan Zhen leapt high to strike, unleashing his most powerful 8th spirit ability, but under Chu Chen's destiny judgment, his head was blasted clean off. Splatter, blood and brain matter flew everywhere. One after another, every member of the Elephant Armor Legion had their heads blown apart by that single strike. The battlefield became a living hell in an instant. Silence, then terror. The Elephant Armor Legion was famed for its defense. Huyan Zhen was a level 89 powerhouse, yet more than 100 of them were killed in an instant. How far had Chu Chen's strength grown? "What terrifying technique," Bibi Dong whispered, barely audible. Chu Chen's destiny judgment had clearly surpassed her own spirit technique, and yet he was only a quasi-titled Douluo with 8 spirit rings. How could he even stand at that level? "Chu Chen, I truly regret not killing you at the Spirit Master tournament," Bibi Dong said, voice full of remorse. "If you died then, you'd have met your end long ago." Chu Chen ignored her. 2 more powerful spirit auras landed beside him, Dugu and Yuanzhen. One was a level 99 powerhouse, the other a level 95 titled Douluo. Even with only 3 people on Chu Chen's side, the situation made Bibi Dong's blood run cold. "That old Dugu actually came too," she muttered. Chu Chen spoke to Dugu quietly. "Today, we sever the foundations of this spirit empire." Leave it to me," Dugu replied. The moment Dugu released his terrifying level 99 pressure, everyone trembled. On the walls of Jialing Pass, Huliena, Shiyue, and Yan watched Chu Chen with complex expressions. None of them could have imagined that the Chu Chen who had attended the Spirit Master tournament years ago would possess such power today. Boom! Bibi Dong struck. She unleashed her Death Spider Emperor spirit, 9 spirit rings bloomed, and a fierce spirit aura blasted toward Chu Chen. Chu Chen retracted his blue-silver emperor and descended onto the battlefield in the form of the Destruction Ancient Dragon. Spirit rings condensed, red, 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 orange, gold, platinum gold, gold, rings that sent tremors through the crowd. These orange and gold rings had never been seen before in this era. Their shock was unimaginable. "What kind of spirit rings are those?" Bibi Dong cried, staring at her own sparse array of 100,000-year rings, fury and madness overtaking her. Chapter 217, The Power of 3. shakes the defenses of the martial soul empire. At that instant, Bibi Dong's mind flashed back to the time she'd gone after the Sky Azure Bull Python and the Titan Giant Ape, to the time she'd encountered the Silver Dragon King. She had nearly been beaten to death then. Rage boiled up inside her. "Chu Chen, how can you have such a heaven-defying opportunity?" she spat. "Go to hell." Bibi Dong unleashed the Death Spider Emperor spirit, black-purple spider silk, seeming to cut through the very fabric of space, tore toward Chu Chen. The strands carried a vicious, piercing, corrosive power and aimed to bind him. Chu Chen's eyes narrowed. He recognized the technique. "Isn't that a blue-silver grass-style binding?" he muttered with a disdainful smile. He raised a hand and the destruction ancient dragon erupted, releasing a terrifying will of destruction that obliterated Bibi Dong's black-purple threads in an instant. But Bibi Dong didn't hesitate. She lunged, poison flaring. Blades of condensed spirit hung on her forearms as she slashed in a relentless, aggressive assault. "Dragon Roar of Destiny," Chu Chen responded, his gaze hardening. He released a dragon roar infused with the power of destiny from his spirit force, now among the strongest on the continent. The blast staggered Bibi Dong, disrupting her focus. That brief opening was all Chu Chen needed. He seized it, condensing the ultimate will of destruction into a black-purple light in his palm. The impact sent Bibi Dong flying. Ice God dragon wings unfurled behind Chu Chen. Ultimate frost condensed into the Ice God battle armor, wrapping him from head to toe. Ultimate destruction and ultimate ice together shot his combat strength to another level. He punched again and again, each blow trailing brilliant fist light, and began to press the attack. "Ice God dragon wings skill. Ice God possession," he roared. Inside his body, two spirit cores spun furiously, forcing his martial soul into a solid state and rendering it inherently more powerful than Bibi Dong's. Each of his strikes slammed into her and hurled her backward. Bibi Dong used that impact to trigger her 8th spirit ability, Spider Emperor Clone. Beside her, another self split off. This clone carried a full 100% of her power, but had no independent consciousness. It answered only to her will. "Chu Chen, I'll make sure you have nowhere to hide," she cried, eyes blood red. "Avenge Xiaogang." Everyone watching, Chu Chen, Douluo Bo, even the Spirit Empire commanders, went speechless. "For what, you Xiaogang?" The Spirit Empire's soldiers' morale flagged. The idea that they were fighting simply for Xiaogang seemed absurd. Douluo Bo sneered. This woman was beyond reason. He released the Jade Phosphor Dragon Emperor. Its oppressive presence crushed Spirit Kite Douluo beneath it, freezing her motion. The Dragon Emperor exhaled a breath laced with ultimate poison. The aura alone killed Spirit Empire soldiers the moment they inhaled it. This was Douluo Bo's terrifying strength exposed. "Spirit Hall, return the lives of my sect members," he bellowed. Yuanzhen, surrounded by crackling lightning, completed the ultimate dragonification. His whole form became a long lightning dragon, and he fought Tuoba Shi, the sacred dragon Douluo. Although Tuoba Shi was a sect leader, his martial soul fell short of Yuanzhen's. With Yu's fury buff, Tuoba soon lay covered in wounds. On the Spirit Empire's side, the situation was dire. Qiandalu had sidelined Bibi Dong deliberately. Chu Chen had already slain 3 people earlier. There were painfully few titled Douluo left to resist. Douluo Bo alone was holding back Spirit Kite Douluo and Ghost Leopard Douluo. No one remained to stop Yuanzhen. Douluo Bo's Jade Phosphor Serpent Emperor avatar unleashed a wave of ultimate poison straight at the indestructible walls of Jieling Pass. The entire pass shook. Hu Liena and the other 2 on the wall were pale with fear, yet as Holy Maiden Hu Liena forced herself to organize a counterattack, though her expression was one of utter despair. The Great Spirit Empire, a force that once made the Starluo Empire tremble, was being shredded by just 3 people. Thousands upon thousands of ordinary Spirit Master teams were nothing against Douluo Bo's poison. Many were killed instantly. Even top-tier fighters were no match. Under these conditions, a rank 99 strike was almost a guaranteed kill. Only Bibi Dong could truly challenge Douluo Bo, but she was already in the thick of things. Bibi Dong became a blur, her clone attacking Chu Chen while she herself moved between offense and defense. Behind her, the vast shadow of the Death Spider Emperor coalesced. She leapt up, and the black-purple light of her avatar of martial soul blasted at Chu Chen, carrying corrosive power and knocking him 1,000 meters back. Her sudden burst was terrifying, but her poison couldn't breach Chu Chen's ice god battle armor. The wings and armor isolated him from her venom. At that moment, Chu Chen distorted space itself, unleashing the ultimate will of destruction. Void destruction, he unleashed, expanding his void realm until it resembled an endless black hole swallowing everything nearby, including Bibi Dong's attacks. Bibi Dong gritted her teeth and instantly switched avatars, soul-eating spider emperor avatar. Crossing her arms, she struck with a jade-green light blade. The slash collapsed the space along its path, and spider legs reminiscent of the 8 spider spirit bones condensed behind her. Half Moon, she called. Using the reverse momentum of Half Moon, she leapt clean out of the range of Chu Chen's void destruction, her chest heaving. That brief exchange told her one thing clearly. Chu Chen truly possessed the fearsome power of her own realm. But how could that be? He didn't even have a 9th spirit ring. She cut off the thought and barked a command. Devil Spider Summoning. At her command, a sky full of hulking spider forms swarmed down toward Chu Chen. Facing the massive spirit onslaught Bibi Dong had unleashed, Chu Chen only sneered. The destruction ancient dragon behind him gave a long, thunderous roar that rolled through heaven and earth. At his feet, the 7th spirit, a platinum gold spirit, suddenly rose. Bibi Dong watched the sky shatter like glass, and beyond that fissure, the true destruction ancient dragon descended, looking down on all things. 7th spirit ability, Avatar of Martial Soul. The moment the destruction ancient dragon avatar manifested, the sky full of spirit assaults Bibi Dong had summoned was instantly obliterated. Chu Chen, carrying the ancient dragon's power and wielding the destruction dragon spear, arrived with overwhelming killing intent. Boom! With a single strike, he smashed through Bibi Dong's defenses and sent her tumbling from the air, slamming her into the walls of Jialing Pass. At the same time, Chu Chen began to condense the will of destruction. The brilliant light made his form almost transparent, and Bibi Dong could clearly see inside him 2 great spirit cores. What on earth is that? She thought, horror rising. That thing makes his spirit power flow and condense completely differently from mine. Could he have forged a brand new cultivation path? The implication chilled her. Chu Chen truly possessed terrifying cultivation talent. She resolved, with ice in her voice, I must kill him, even if I have to use the Rakshasa divine force. A murderous intent radiated from Bibi Dong, and the temperature of the battlefield dropped. Giant scythe-like blades condensed around her arms and lashed out. 6th spirit ability, Eternal Wound, one of Bibi Dong's most dreadful techniques, released now to lock onto Chu Chen. Emerald green crossing beams of light crashed down. If they hit, the injury would spread endlessly. 6th spirit ability, Imperial Heaven Extinguishing Dragon Strike. The orange-gold spirit beneath Chu Chen pulsed. He unleashed the 6th technique of that orange-gold spirit, the power granted by the violet Imperial Heaven Extinguishing Dragon. A purple-gold dragon roared and dove down, its purple flames filling the sky and neutralizing the violent power of Bibi Dong's Eternal Wound. At the same time, Chu Chen used a spatial technique. Chi! The destruction dragon spear in his hand shot forward and pierced toward Bibi Dong. She couldn't dodge in time and raised her arms to block. Her arm was impaled. She had reached a breaking point. The purple-black light of evil began to cloud her eyes. Still, she tore free from Chu Chen's attack and at that close range unleashed her 9th technique. 9th spirit ability, Space Rending Abyss Slash. The strike could rend space itself. Up close, it risked swallowing Bibi Dong in its own after effects, but she didn't care. She only wanted to kill Chu Chen. Boom! The earth-shaking emerald green blade of light tore through space, devouring everything in its path. Space itself twisted as the blade surged toward Chu Chen. It was the fiercest attack Bibi Dong had ever launched, a reckless, all-out attempt to end him. This lunatic, Chu Chen sneered as pure golden light surged from his body. Paragon Golden Body. Since his soft bones rabbit soul bone had evolved to the divine rank, his Paragon Golden Body had grown far more powerful. He met Bibi Dong's space-rending abyss slash head-on. The emerald green light distorted the heavens and made it impossible to see what was happening in the sky. In the midst of that blinding chaos, Dugu Bo's final blow struck with devastating force, wounding Spirit Kite Douluo severely. From beginning to end, that part of the battle had become a slaughter. Even with Ghost Leopard Douluo attempting to help, Spirit Kite Douluo and the others were no match for the fearsome Dugu. Spirit Kite was covered in blood. It seemed as if her two large spirit orbs had been deflated. Humph, you should die too. Dugu unleashed the Medusa Skullbone skill, Medusa's Gaze, a flash of petrifying energy. It turned the already defenseless Spirit Kite Douluo to stone, and then, with a boom, she shattered into pieces. Spirit Kite Douluo had fallen. Although the Spirit Empire controlled most of the Spirit Masters on the continent, they could not withstand Dugubo's onslaught. Casualties spread everywhere, and their foundation was shaken. Boom! Dugubo ripped the gates of Jialing Pass open and charged in as if into an empty land. He did not kill indiscriminately, but the elite Spirit Masters trapped inside could not escape. This was war, and Dugubo showed no mercy. To destroy the Spirit Empire, he needed to strike at its core and make it collapse. Bibi Dong, you can't kill me. Chu Chen walked out of the terrifying energy storm unscathed. With his Paragon Golden body, Bibi Dong's technique could not harm him. Bibi Dong, however, had already spent a great deal of energy. Chu Chen, you deserve to die. You deserve to die. She went mad with rage. A black-purple radiance descended. In her hand, it condensed into a hideous demonic scythe. The blade shimmered with a cold light and was set with a single crimson eye. Boom! Bibi Dong stopped suppressing her Rakshasa power and manifested the Rakshasa demonic scythe. Her beautiful face contorted into something terrible. With the scythe, her strength surged back to its peak, and her attacks grew even more ferocious. The weapon slashed out continuous, terrifying beams of light, trying to drown Chu Chen. Rakshasa demonic scythe. Chu Chen's gaze sharpened as two super-divine artifacts, the Destruction Dragon Spear and the Scepter of Destruction, materialized simultaneously in his hands. Divine energies erupted. The two artifacts crashed against the barrage from the Rakshasa demonic scythe again and again, until the sky and earth darkened and space itself churned. Is this the battle between successors of divinities? Dugubo watched with a mix of admiration and dread. The ripples from Chu Chen and Bibi Dong's clash made his heart race. He did not dare approach. Neither fighter held anything back. They were unleashing their most terrifying powers. At the same time, the voice of the Rakshasa god whispered in Bibi Dong's mind. Bibi Dong, take this opportunity to kill him directly. That damned god of destruction is busy suppressing a terrifying existence in the god realm and won't be watching Chu Chen. Kill him, and you eliminate future trouble forever. Listening to the emotionless voice, Bibi Dong's killing intent intensified. Gripping the Rakshasa demonic scythe, she became a black-purple streak and charged straight at Chu Chen. Boom! Chu Chen did not dodge. At this moment, his second spirit core, Destruction, bloomed completely, and his power level leapt into an entirely new realm.